Yo, it's Elut. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I am coming at you with the Tellius ban list. This is the second installation of this series. Last time I had Mithril on, and we talked about the GBA entries. Mithril, say hi, first of all.
Hello, everyone.
Thanks for being here, as always.
Always glad to be on here talking about more Fire Emblem.
Yeah, and we both, I think it's safe to say we both would not be here making YouTube videos about Fire Emblem if not for these two games. So
Yeah, I would agree. Path of Radiance was my first, and Radiant Dawn was one of the everyone who plays video games has like some of those ones that are like formative for them of like you play it at the right time, it's the right game at the right time that just sticks in your brain, and Radiant Dawn was that for me.
yeah, no, absolutely. So we are going to start with FE9. Just a refresher if you forgot from the last video, or if this is the first one you've watched, you don't have to watch these in order. Basically, what we're doing here today is we are going into these games, and we're talking about if someone were to go back and adjust things about them from a gameplay standpoint, mechanically or otherwise, what would they change? We're not going to the scope of like, oh, changing the story or... Like, one thing I know that a lot of people would change about the Tellius games is making animations faster. For me, that's, like, kind of outside the scope of this. Like, yeah, that would be nice, but that's not, like, really mechanics or gameplay oriented. So we're talking about more that sort of thing. A ban basically means it's so much of a mess that it either needs a complete overhaul or should just be taken out completely, and it would make it a better experience. A limit is something that is fine to exist, but maybe not in its current form. It might just need some reduction in an area or something. And then the unlimits mean this thing just needs buffs, like straight up. Like this thing does not need to be as bad as it is or as limiting on the player as it is, etc., etc. So, Mithril, would you like to start with any bans you have for Path of Radiance?
Sure. I have one. It's a little bit of a cop-out because it was already banned. Maniac mode does not need to exist.
Okay, so... okay.
Do I need to explain what Maniac mode is for the people who are not familiar with the Japanese version of Path of Radiance?
Well, okay, so one thing I did want to say is I do think we should have a focus on the English versions. Like, we can mention the Japanese ones, but, like, I've only done Maniac mode once. You know what I mean? Like, it's very easy for me to not play
that's
it.
very fair.
I mean, we could mention it. It is kind of funny to talk about, but...
I had a really hard time coming up with bands, man.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like, do you want to let me have this one, or do you want to lead off? Because I don't... I'm sure that I could agree on some other bands if you were to talk about them or mention them, but I have a hard time coming up with any actual, like... things to remove from Path of Radiance outright, personally.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But I do kind of want to, especially for these games, more so focus on the English releases. Because we're not going to talk about, like, Resolve in FE10 Japanese. We're only going to talk about, you know, Resolve in English kind of thing. Because they do function differently and stuff like that. We can mention Maniac mode, haha. I'm fine with that, but like, I think like hard English is a pretty well crafted difficulty. I think it's fine. So we don't have to go on a rant about Maniac.
Good, because I've not played Maniac, and I have no desire to. As someone who loves Path of Radiance, I have no desire to touch Maniac mode.
Yeah, no, I think I told you I got to Clash and then went, yeah, I'm good. I'm done. I've had enough.
Yeah.
So does that mean you have no bans for English FE9 then?
I guess it does.
Okay.
Because I've tried to think of other things to ban, and I honestly don't think that they're egregious enough to get rid of, unlike... from the GBA lists, the hacksaw I was taking to some of those games.
Yeah, no Erica route, by the way. But yeah, because here's another thing, right? Like, the Japanese version also has, like, the Crit Forge glitch, where the English one doesn't. So, like, I don't want to have to talk about that as well.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's very fair. And like with Radiant Dawn, the Japanese forging system is totally different.
yeah, yeah. So we'll stick to the English versions, but it's funny to mention Maniac Mode. I have a potential ban for FE9, but I do have a backup plan in case we want to put it in limits. And it's honestly just an excuse for me to go on a rant real quick. I hate Chapter 25. I hate everything about Chapter 25. I hate that it's a route map with a bunch of reinforcements. I hate that it has movement penalty on terrain except for flyers. I hate the stupid rocks. I hate that the stupid rocks stop on each individual character when they hit them. It's so bad, and it provides absolutely nothing to the story. There's nothing interesting going on. The objective sucks. I want it gone. But
And speaking of,
but
and speaking
I
of
could live with it.
flyers,
Oh yeah.
that one, is it a killer ballista or an iron ballista or what?
I'm-
All I know is it one shots any flyer that doesn't have a full guard.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a killer. And they also have this stupid like the rock launcher things on each side too, which is just, they're not dangerous, but they're just like annoying because they're there. You gotta watch the animations. And I forgot, I also hate that the boss has an elixir, and whenever he goes into resolve range, you're not gonna be doubling him anymore. No one's two-shotting him. So he just goes to heal AI and flies away. So you have to fight him like 4 times normally, unless you get lucky with a crit or something. Or an Ike Aether or whatever. I hate that map so much.
You have to lure him out at his max attack range and then beat him up, like finish him off on player phase.
Yeah, and you can't do that super early. Like, his max range turn 1 is only flyer terrain. So if you need someone who's not a flyer to do that or to help you, then it's going to be really annoying chasing him around. I will say, as much as I hate this map, I really am trying to not ban a map in any game if I can help it, because in some other games too, like if you start banning maps, you also affect other things. Like if I were to ban a map in Conquest, then I'd have to readjust like when you can upgrade the armories and the staff shops, because where that would happen would be different now.
Path of Radiance, Chapter 25, I think the only thing you get on that map is it's a base conversation that unlocks Largo, I want to say.
Yeah, it is Largo. So, I mean, I like Largo. Largo's cool. So,
yeah, like it's fine. I mean, but you could have that base conversation at literally any other base. There's nothing saying you have to do it.
Yeah.
The only thing that we miss is that we won't get Eat Rock.
Yeah, Eat Rock. So, like, I do have a backup plan, which is putting this map in the limit section. And what I would do is I would remove the movement penalties on the terrain. It's not quite as bad as, like, Desert Sand, but it's, like, halfway there or something.
It's extreme. Like, infantry... It's about Desert Sand, because infantry have a 2-tile on it, and cavalry, I think, are 3 points per tile. So it might it's not quite as bad as Sand, where I think cavalry have a 4-point per movement.
Yeah, or something weird like that. Yeah.
For some high extreme, but it's bad.
Yeah.
It's extreme. And the terrain doesn't even look like it should have penalties on it. It doesn't look any different from any other dirt.
Yeah, it really doesn't either. So I would remove that, and then I would just say no reinforcements, period. Like, it's already going to take a while. You're already watching all these, like, goofy things happen. I think it could make the map tolerable, but not, like, overstay this, like, really boring kind of pointless thing. And you could still have the boss exist the same way and all that stuff, but it's such a drag as it is right now.
Yeah, it's in that cluster of Path of Radiance, like, close to endgame maps, where every map has some sort of, like, puzzle gimmick to it. Like, people get upset at Fates for having gimmick maps, but Path of Radiance had plenty of them as well. Because it's like, if I remember right, it's like, it's the Sokoban priest map, and then the bridge, and then That map, I want to say, the rocks.
No. In between, there's the Jeffrey Arrive map. That one's pretty good.
Okay, that's a really good map. That's a
Yeah.
solid map.
Yeah, I like that one. But you're right. There are some gimmicky ideas in FE9 for sure.
Yeah, and not to say that, gimmicks are bad entirely, but it is just one of those things of like, when you get so many maps that feel gimmicky in a row, it's like, it begins to feel like, okay, when am I actually just gonna get some combat going here?
Yeah.
And I will say, Chapter 25 does give a little bit of that combat, but yeah, I would at the very least, remove the limits on, like, why does the terrain punish all movement, and you have a ballista that punishes all flyers? It's not reasonable, because that's also like a 15 range ballista too, if I remember right.
I believe so.
It's at the very top of the map, and you cannot hit it with siege tomes.
Yeah, because it's just all flyer terrain.
Or outfly it with flyers. Like, unless you were like suiciding Rayson into the boss's range to boost a flyer to maybe one round that sniper. But this is Tellius, good luck one rounding anything.
Marcy,
Path of Radiance, man.
I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like if you took away the movement penalties on the ground, and I would really love to see no reinforcements, but that one I'm less worried about.
I forgot that there were reinforcements on that map too.
The thing that is annoying to me about it is it's a lot of like wyvern riders and stuff. So it's like, oh, you're moving slow, and it's a route map, and it takes forever, and the bulkiest enemies just showed up to like prolong it. I don't know.
Yeah, it is a map that just drags its feet and takes forever. So, yeah, at the very least, to remove the penalty, the movement penalty on that. You can still have the rocks. You can still have the whole, hey, we're, moving around. Like Radiant Dawn, they had rocks as well, but they didn't stop every time it hit a unit.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, it just went through and just like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Yeah, I much prefer that. Still doesn't make it like super exciting, but like it is better.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like I said, we can move that to limits. I feel like I'd probably prefer to do that. It takes a lot to truly delete a map from the game.
Yeah, because the other map that I was thinking of maybe changing, or like, if it would be anything, it's a ban, because I don't really think of any limits that are reasonable for it, just because I don't like the map, and not because I died on it, but Tower of Despair, the right before the final.
Yeah, the Lagoose Tower.
It's not even like the worst map possible or anything. It's not offensive in any way. It's just, it's a giant monotype unit map, effectively, where you have a few mages and a bunch of Lagoos, and most of the time you just have Ike with Ragnell and then Tabarn just shred their way through.
Yeah, no, I agree. That map is also near the bottom of my list for this game.
Mm-hmm.
And it normally does turn into, like, unless I'm doing a playthrough where, like, I'm trying to get certain characters, like Radiant Dawn transfers. I'm sure that won't come up later. I basically just send in Ike and just watch him bowl over the map. Like, at that point, I just kind of wanted to get on with it, There's not really interesting things going on otherwise. I think some of the story stuff in that map is, like, really cool, actually. But, like, the gameplay is really lacking. It's just not interesting.
Yeah,
and
without that map, you don't get the background of Izuka and the feral ones and all of that. So it is a very important map. You can't just get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, other than that, I think that's fine. I could argue to, like, it's kind of pointless. The only other thing I could argue for bans is, like, remove coins from the game, because they only count towards transfers, and otherwise they kind of, like, waste treasure spots that could have been, like, actual stuff. Like, if you're playing the pirate map where the crows attack, the ravens attack, and then you have, like, the last useful treasure appears on a reinforcement on turn, like, 9 or 10, and then there's a coin on turn like 15 or something stupid like that. I forget the details, but
yeah, if you're talking
it's
about
like you wait an
chapter
extra
12, the
Yeah.
last reinforcement on like 13 or something is like a seraph robe and there's a coin like really late. It's really goofy. I forget where though.
But yeah, aside from that, I think it's like there's no other bans per se that I have for Path of Radiance.
Okay, me either. Well, it looks like the game is peak.
Well, I do have a limit here.
Yeah. Let's move to limits. So I'm going to write down chapter 25. Move penalty. We seem to agree on that. I'll remove it from my bans. And go ahead, sir.
Alrighty, so I have one limit that I think is big, and it's Path of Radiance really needs to limit how much bonus experience you can put on a single unit at a time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My way of doing it, because I bounced around several ideas of how you would limit bonus experience in my head. I was like, do you want to limit it to you have to, like, you can only get up to the level of the highest level unit? Or do you want to do it where it's like you can only do like so much? Maybe there's like increasing penalties on how much bonus experience when you put into units. I think ultimate, or like, could you only level up a certain number of times per chapter? I think my thing with bonus experience, and that I think would be the most fair, is just to have a chapter-based set level limit on here's how far you can level with bonus experience. It's kind of like how, if you're familiar with like Pokemon YouTube, how a lot of like Nuzlockers go, where it's like, okay, you can't grind your units past a certain, the level of the next gym leader's ace Pokemon, for instance.
Yeah,
and so it's like, I'm thinking of like that, because I think Path of Radiance is a really fun game, and it can be fun to play the maps as you get them, as they're coming in, and try to be like, okay, what is this map going to do for me? How am I going to tackle it? But when you have a Marcia that is level 12 promoted or something by chapter 13, the game is no longer like, hey, let's do interesting things. The game is, what else is everyone else doing while Marcia solos the rest of the map? And that just... Sure, while there's some fun in like optimizing how you can do the rest of your units, I think that the fundamental having one unit massively juggernaut gives a very negative taste for a lot of people, for a lot of people that play Path of Radiance that do dump bonus experience, and then they're like, oh, the game just wasn't very fun. I just had one unit conquer the whole thing.
I mean, I know you're right, but you're describing me. Like, I dump all of the bonus XP on Marcia, but the difference is I have fun doing that.
And that's the thing, is that when you have a limit like this, you kind of feel like a fun police. But it's like you kind of feel like you're having to save players from themselves a little bit. But honestly, I think the game would be in a better state were that not possible, to be like, I'm gonna dump 1,000 bonus experience into one unit as soon as I get them, and turn them from not being in my army to being the god of my army right away.
Okay. I guess the devil's advocate counterpoint that I would bring up.
Sure.
So, like, I agree that, like, doing this as soon as Marcia joins is, like, blatantly, like, too strong. Like, you should not be able to do that. Even though I'm happy that you can, I think it's really fun. That also hurts, like, someone dumping a ridiculous amount on, like, a bad unit, who, like, even if you over-leveled them, they're still bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is not, like, a great point, but...
But, I mean, this is also why I settled on it should be a chapter-based level cap, Because then it's like, okay, you're taking Rolf, who's a level 1 archer at base, and then giving him like 15 levels. It's like, okay, the chapter cap might be like level 16 unpromoted. You can still dump all your bonus experience into Rolf. You know, you could still dump like 7 bonus experience levels into Nephany if you wanted. I feel like dumping bonus experience into an underleveled unit to catch them up is part of the game. That's part of why bonus experience exists. Dumping bonus experience into a already high leveled unit to massively blast them into the stratosphere, I feel like is an abuse of the system. But that also is maybe just me and maybe just my sensibility for how I feel like the game is more fun played.
Yeah, no, trust me, I get it. Like, logically, like, this all makes sense to me. I'm just trying to think, like, with a chapter level cap, you would have to be a little careful. Because, like, would endgame be your 2020 opportunity for bonus XP? Or would it be earlier than that?
I haven't, like, plotted out exactly where the level caps would be.
Sure.
Specifically, I'm just thinking, like, in general, like, okay, let's say we're, like, promotion comes before 17. Chapter 17, I would say, because, you know, like, story promotes at the end of 17. I think the promotion should be before that. And then I guess by that logic, I think maybe 2020 might be, like, Clash. Okay. Not that you're really getting people to 2020 by Clash, but I think it should scale up such that having a 2020 by Clash is not as like, first of all, it's rare in the first place to have that much experience dumped on one unit, even by that point. But it also then becomes, well, the difference in power of being like 5 levels over the highest level enemy on the map, like the 5 levels higher than the boss, is less than being, 10 plus levels over a boss.
Sure. Okay. The only reason I ask that question is because I do agree, like, it would have to be a couple chapters before the end, mainly because, like, if you're just, this I'm sure happens to a lot of people, they get really close to the Black Knight fight and they're like, oh, my Ike needs to, like, hit a couple stat caps before I fight him, like, I want to make sure I'm ready. Maybe that does mean an Ike that has to get to, like, 18, 19, 20 in order to get those. Like, sometimes that happens. So, like, I don't want to punish, like, that kind of thing, but I do I do like the general idea of, like, we don't want you to be 15 levels over, like, most enemies on a map. Yeah, it's hard to argue, honestly, like, because they do have increasing experience requirement, like, for each level. Like, every level above 10 requires more than 100 bonus XP, but I don't think it, like, actually matters all that much, like, in practice. You know what I mean? It's not like so punishing that you're not gonna get a bunch out of it.
Yeah. And I mean, bringing it back to the whole, ban limit, like, card games, whatever, it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks to have to bite the bullet on, like, oh, I'm banning my own deck, but
yeah, why'd you put my branded fusion to one Mithril? What the hell, man? No,
I know, exactly.
But no, I get this change, though, because this isn't saying that, like, you can't do it, you're just lowering the ceiling, basically. Which I think is fair.
Yeah, the idea being, you can level up people, you can level up your units to a degree of, you can still pour bonus experience and make someone one of, if not the strongest unit in your army, but they shouldn't be able to, like, effectively ignore the rest of the units on the map purely because of bonus experience. And that also doesn't prevent you from further leveling them up past that cap on real experience on the map.
Yeah, okay.
But by that point in time, they are getting the EXP penalty from being higher level than the enemies they're killing, and then that will naturally kind of snowball and slow the roll a little bit.
Right, so at that point, it's taking care of itself. Okay. Yeah, I've been convinced. Mithril said only one branded fusion. I think he's right though.
Yeah, well, that's my big limit here, though. What have you got?
Not too much. My unlimit list is packed. But I do have one limit.
Same.
The main limit here is specifically about chapter 26, but you could probably put it on a couple late game maps. I think there just needs to be enemies that either have one weapon, or if they have a 1 to 2 range weapon, like they are the outlier kind of thing. Like Clash, the thing that sucks about Clash is that a lot of paladins will have 1-2 range, or they'll have like a silver sword and a steel bow or something like that. So it's like, bring 1-2 range, or don't bother showing up, because on their turn with their 9 move Super Canto, they're gonna do what they want. And I think it would be a lot more interesting if like they had either a bow or a sword, and then the occasional one has a short axe or something like that, so that you don't feel the need to have 1-2 range as often. And it would also feel better because the only way you're one rounding is with like 1 range forges a lot of the time in late game, or if you proc like Adept or Aether or something like that. So like, yeah, it like does double, because you aren't feeling as useless on enemy phase, and on the enemy phase that actually, you know, feels like you're contributing now, you're getting kills more often. And I think it would just be a much better. I think it would be a much cooler map. And like I said, you could do that with a couple other areas in the game too.
Yeah, I definitely... I had a hard time being like, should I like nerf Paladin defenses or speed or something in Path of Radiance? And I think no. I think that like cuts too deeply to the core of what Path of Radiance is, weirdly enough. But I do think that in Clash specifically, but just Paladins, enemy Paladins as a whole, the vast majority of them do have a weapon of both their weapon types, and all the time you're seeing javelins or steel bows put in as a secondary weapon. And yeah, my over-invested, over-leveled, like strength speed cap Jill was not one rounding with a forged hand axe.
Yeah,
the Paladins in Clash. It's kind of ridiculous, and I get that you shouldn't necessarily, like, here's the thing as well, because people will say, oh, you shouldn't be able to just one round an enemy phase with a 1-2 range weapon. That's how Fire Emblem 7 happens. And I would agree with you, except for the fact that Clash, they outnumber you 3-1 in the largest deployment map Fire Emblem has ever had. You can deploy 22 units, I think, something like that.
It's a lot. I don't remember, but it's a lot.
It's so many units that you can deploy. The enemy like basically starts at unit cap, and then they get reinforcements 6 at a time for Paladins and Wyvern Lords. And yeah, you're barely one-rounding them with a forged silver weapon on a strength-capped unit. It's too much. Like, when you are outnumbering the player with that many units plus reinforcements, think like, you know, Chapter 21 of FE6, the player needs some way to fight back on enemy phase reasonably.
Yeah.
And also with how the healing AI is in
oh my god,
Path of Radiance in particular, it is not unlikely to see a warrior spend 6 turns running all the way across the map to take an elixir from a unit right next to the boss.
Yup. Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's funny.
Yeah, it's true.
It's funny, but it shouldn't, like, it's funny, and it's funny that it is a shared experience among people who've played Path of Radiance, but I don't know if that's the thing that we want Path of Radiance to be remembered for,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I feel like, too, this is something that I notice in Radiant Dawn, even as early as Part 1, where, like, you'll fight, like, the squads of Cavaliers in like Fiona's map, for example, and normally like one of them will have a 1 to 2 range, maybe 2, but normally they'll come in with like a steel sword, a steel axe, a steel bow, and then one will have like a wind edge. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, you know, at least if I have a strong unit here that's retaliating at one range, they can take care of a couple of them, and then we can use our turn to take care of like the last one or two, basically. And I think that feels better than retaliating everybody and killing nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or at the very least, it gives you that choice of like, I either retaliate and chip most of these units so I can finish them off on player phase, or I can kill a couple on enemy phase but leave the other ones full HP.
Yeah.
And it becomes a real choice instead of Path of Radiance, particularly Clash, where I can either deal 20 damage, like 30 damage to all these paladins that have like 40 HP, or I can, you know, maybe kill one of them because all the other ones have bows and lances.
Yeah, exactly. And I do like that idea better because like it does feel like more of a choice rather than like I just think about playing Ike solo on this chapter, and it's so funny and it sticks in my brain forever, but like like the start of that map is Alencia in the bottom right corner, Ike like 10 spaces up and to the left, and there's, I kid you not, like 12 enemies around him just attacking at 2 range.
Yeah.
It is the dumbest thing.
Here's another question though.
Okay.
Would Clash be fixed if Ike got Ragnell for Clash? Maybe just in the Ike solo version of playing Clash.
Well, Ike solo? Heck yeah. Give me that, like, chapter 17, bro. But
I more jokingly say that.
I know. Because at that point, I think Clash would just turn into chapter 28, but earlier. Just like, just
which
watch
chapter
Ike
28's problem is, what we said. Ike goes in 1 ranges, but with the option of 2 ranging mages, and yeah.
Yeah, but I do think, just to wrap up, I think that would make chapter 26 and a few other places as well just better if 1-2 range weapons on enemies were less common. But yeah, we can go. Do you have any other limits, or was the bonus XP?
That was the only one I had.
Okay, cool. I think it's unlimit time then. Would you like to go first?
Sure. We have a number of them, so we want to just go back and forth on them?
Sure. I think some of them might be pretty quick.
Yeah, they might be pretty quick. They might be overlaps. My big unban is Justice for Soren, Justice for Ilyana, Justice for Tormod, fix mages. I want +1 move on mages so they match other infantry. I want better stats on tomes, particularly higher rank tomes. Why is Tornado, your A rank wind tome, 6 might, the equivalent of a forged wind tome you can get in chapter 10? I want faster weapon EXP gain because no one's actually getting to Tornado rank in the first place. And I would love it if you could be able to forge at least some non-basic tomes. You don't have to be able to like forge Tornado and Bolganon and whatever, but can't we like make a forged Elfire at some point, even if it's just like in the late game when you unlock silver forging?
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's so dumb how many nerfs mages took. I don't even care about like the knife thing. Like Khalil and Bastion can keep knives. I don't even care about that. It's just the tomes are way too weak.
Yeah. And I had a change that's sort of adjacent to this, so I'll pop it in here. I think the only like weapon rank in FE9 that is like a real pain to level up is tome rank. It just feels like the most annoying, and the fact that they're split is also super obnoxious. Especially because like early game, Soren has like the 1 wind tome, and then that'll probably break like during chapter 7 if you're using him consistently. And then you get a fire tome drop, but like it's a separate weapon rank. It feels like kind of annoying to do that. And my adjacent change was, I think arm scrolls should increase all magic types when used on like on a mage. I think that would be kind of neat.
Yeah, there's also it's not even like there's multiple like S rank tomes that you're fighting for in Path of Radiance.
Yeah,
It's
just the Rex Bolt.
just Rex Bolt, and so yeah, you want the big reason why you want tome rank is to hit C or is it B for siege tomes.
It is C rank.
C rank, yeah, and
Which
then Khalil
takes longer
comes
than you'd
with
think.
yeah. It takes forever because it's like 50 points and then 100 points, and every tome just gives like one weapon experience or something.
Yeah.
It's so slow. So it's like faster weapon experience gain and better stats for the tome, so that way when you do gain those weapon ranks and access the higher level tomes, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Mages, every element has effectiveness against different types of Lagoos, but you wouldn't know it because the tomes are so weak and it's only 2x effectiveness.
Yup.
So that it's like, okay, congratulations, your wind tome goes from dealing 1 damage to 2 against bird tribes. Are you happy now?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Well, and that was another change that I had was I think this game should have triple effective bonus damage. And
There's no reason for bonus damage to be 2x.
there really, really isn't. Like if you get your bow rank up, crazy, I know, in Path of Radiance, getting your bow rank up and you still can't one round a Wyvern Lord, like that's a problem. I think that's kind of absurd. And it's like, oh, you got to use the wind tomes against the Ravens on chapter 12. They're weak to the wind tomes. +1 damage. Like, really? Are we for real? That's such a waste of time, dude. So, like, I do think they need might buffs in general on top of that.
Yeah.
But
And if you are forging a tome, tomes are like twice as expensive as any other weapon to forge as well.
They're ridiculous.
People say you don't have money problems in Path of Radiance. Those people have not tried forging tomes.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do agree. First of all, I do agree that mages should have like the same movement as other infantry. They should have 6 unpromoted, 7 promoted. That seems weird to me. I don't know why they really did that. I guess they're trying to say like they're less athletic or something stupid, but
it brings it into line with armored units, which is where they were in FE1.
That's weird to me.
Because the movement in Tellius games is more similar to the movement in Arcanea games. Not exactly the same.
Right.
Because we don't have 10 move paladins in Tellius. We only have 9. But
yeah.
But aside from that, it's more similar.
Yeah.
Than it was for the GBA games. Basically, everyone got a +1 move from where they were in the GBA games, except for mages.
Yeah, exactly. I think they could have 6 and 7, and you can still have Tormod with Celerity. That's okay. I think that'd be even more peak,
have Tormod, promoted Tormod moving at 9 move at the same speed as a paladin. I would love it.
Yes!
It would feel so good. He already feels fun to use at 8.
Yeah.
Like 7 to 8, but 8 to 9 Tormod. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm on board with that. So yeah, any disagreements thus far? I don't think there have been.
I mean, it was just that, the mages, and then the 2x to 3x.
Yeah, mages movement for sure. I do think tome might could be looked at. Triple effective damage, and I don't know how you feel about the arm scroll change. It's not super important. I think you only get like 2 in the whole game, but getting
I'd be down for it.
Nice.
Just like, heck, we could even globalize. Like, using an arm scroll means that all weapon types you could equip get +1 rank.
I'd be fine with that too.
Because arm scroll already feels usually like the weakest stat booster unless you have a very specific use case for it.
Yeah, like Mist.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that's one thing I really loved about Fates. Like arm scrolls and Fates buff all of your weapon types by a rank. I think that's awesome. So yeah, I think those are all good. What else you got?
So here's one. Occult scroll abilities should never be net negative.
Yes, dude, this was on my list too. I have mastery skill buffs.
Why does Astra deal half damage yet still take full durability?
Yup.
Why does activating. I'm trying to think of any other ones. Like I guess they're not net negative, but they're effectively zero
Yeah.
sum. Like, oh, Deadeye, put my target to sleep right after they die. You know,
Yeah, it's like, dude, Deadeye is, oh my god, it's so bad.
they
But
don't
no,
need to be instant kills like in Radiant Dawn, but they should at least feel more impactful when they are fairly rare, require promotion, and they're like have this like secret mysticism about around them of like,
yeah.
ooh, an occult scroll. What am I gonna get?
Yeah, so the ones I wrote down specifically is I do think Astra should hit for full damage. I just think half damage is such a scam, honestly. Like, it's just
It
such
really
a
is,
scam.
especially half rounded down.
Yeah, exactly. It's so bad. And then honestly, I'd be fine with some of them being just like delete buttons. Like, I think Colossus should just be like a normal delete button skill instead of the stupid thing that it is right now, where you have to have higher build rating
Build-based.
in order to proc it. Dude, it's so bad.
Constitution based bonuses and then strength based bonus damage.
Yeah, and it unfortunately that is one of the funniest skills in this game. I love the Boyd Colossus animation, but it's not worth it. Give him anything
Which
else.
one, the map one or the real one?
I mean, both of them,
Well,
honestly. They're both
the
funny.
map one where it just jumps 500 feet in the air.
Yeah, exactly. They're both peak, but like I think that could just be like a Boyd insta kill move. I think that'd be fine. Lethality is kind of bad no matter what, but like
Quarter skill proc.
yeah, is it quarter skill or is it like half crit? I thought it was half crit in this game too.
Was it half crit in Path of Radiance still?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna double check.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's half crit in
Holy
FE9. And then the other one was Flare, because Flare in Radiant Dawn is just like an insta-kill, but it heals you a little bit. In this game,
Yeah, it is half crit.
It is half crit. Yeah, it's terrible. Terrible. And then Flare in this game is like some skills in Fire Emblem, you read them and you're like, oh, I could see this being good, and then you try it out, it's not so hot. You read Flare and you know it's bad. You have enemy resistance. So what, like 8 to 4? Hooray! Like that, it's so bad. I feel like you could just
Tellius enemies
in the
do
FE10
start
version.
having resistance, unlike GBA enemies, but even so, that is like 12 or 16
Yeah, it's
at most for like certain paladins.
Yeah, and that's for one attack. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't think that's worth it. Like, who's giving Soren Flare instead of Vantage Adept or something like that? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I feel like there should be some semblance of like, oh, I want to try this run. I want to do this instead. But there's just no reason. It's so bad. So I feel like those three could just maybe even have their FE10 versions, and Astra is essentially getting its FE10 version if it hits for full damage. It just has a higher proc rate, I believe, in FE9. I actually, no, I think that's wrong. I think they both are skill divided by 2. But anyway, I think those 4 especially could get buffed. I think Aether is fine as is, Soul is fine as is, Luna's fine as is. You don't want to buff Luna. Then you have Black Knight problems, potentially. And then what else is there? It's like
Astra for Swordmaster, Colossus for Berserker and Warrior, Deadeye for Sniper.
Oh yeah, Deadeye. I mean,
Lethality for Assassin, Stun on flying units.
Oh yeah, Stun is awful in this game too. I mean, it's
Flare for Bishop Sage, Roar for Beast Tribe, Cancel for Hawks, Blessing for Herons.
Oh yeah.
I was like, doesn't he already have Blessing? But I guess not. But
I think he does, right? Because Blessing is just like the heal when you're adjacent, right? Isn't that what that is?
yeah. Recover HP equal to the user's magic stats.
Yep,
To
and
neighbors.
then the dragon's just boon, which like they already have too. Or at least Anna does.
I keep confusing. Yeah, Anna has Boon. I think they both have Boon by default.
Okay.
I keep confusing it with Ire, which is their one in Radiant Dawn, which is just crit.
Oh, yeah, it's like the Digensia. Basically,
Yeah, it's
mastery
the
skill.
dragon Satori sign bonus, because, yeah.
But yeah, like
Yeah, honestly, I think it sounds like it's just Astra, and then maybe change lethality to skill-based instead of crit-based.
yeah. At the very least. I mean, some of them are just going to
Mhm.
be so bad if you're not making them the FE10 version. But at the same time, like, I feel like I'd almost be okay with that with some of them. And the reason I say that is just because, like, this game already has a problem with, like, things not dying. And you only get
Yeah.
4 scrolls. A lot of times you're going to
It
use one
would
on
turn the
Ike,
use
so...
of an occult scroll from, okay, this kind of feels useless, but sure, I'll give it to you because I have no better skills to put on you, to, okay, I'm giving you this super special buff that means that you just randomly kill people.
Yeah. I think that'd be okay. I think I'd be okay
Especially
with that.
considering if anyone has, because of the way that the skill point system works in Path of Radiance, if anyone has a like a starting skill, you have to remove that starting skill to put an occult scroll skill on them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I feel like there is some sort of like trade-off for going for like a an insta-kill move, basically, because you can't really add much else to it unless you're doing like Miracle or something, which is also terrible. So like I think I'd be okay with that if they did kind of get their FE10 versions for some of them.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how much you want to buff it to feel fair, but I definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't feel too bad buffing most of them to at least be some level of extra damage. Like, Ether on Ike should be like the gold standard. Like, Path of Radiance Ether is the gold standard of what like a proc skill should feel like
Yeah, I
for
agree.
Path of Radiance. And I think you don't necessarily need to be like, it's a guaranteed crit and everything else. But
Yeah.
maybe for some classes that might be worth it.
Yeah, yeah, no. I think they definitely need something there.
Yeah, even if it's just because right now it just feels like, oh, here's an excuse to shove in all these status conditions that otherwise you never will see in the entire game.
Yeah, and the problem with those is like, well, if you put someone to sleep with Deadeye or you stunned them, that means they're still alive, which is a problem. Like, you would have rather just put like Adept on them or something and killed, maybe, if you were gonna proc something.
Yeah. It's like, and Deadeye I see as slightly more useful because it's like, okay, well, you were probably attacking with your sniper first for chip, and then if they're asleep, okay, well, I don't have to worry about that enemy, I can focus on a different one. But that situation only comes up in Clash,
Yeah.
and then maybe Chapter 28.
Yeah, or
but,
like the final,
yeah.
potentially, that kind of thing, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else you got for Unlimits?
What else I have? Fairly quick one. I would like a Radiant Dawn style Laguz meter. I don't think it needs to go all the way up to like 30 or have the different drain rates or whatnot. But I would like the ability in Path of Radiance just to be like, okay, I want to hold on to this, or I want to end my transformation early to start recharging. I just like that extra amount of control that I have over the Laguz units that Path of Radiance takes from you.
I agree. I think the difference between Leith and Janaf versus Alki and Mordecai should not feel as bad as it does.
Yeah.
Like, just...
You're already locked to one range with no forging access.
Yeah.
You don't need to also you're only usable half the time. You don't need to feel even worse.
Yeah, and I always feel like they get experience so much slower.
Like, yeah, because they're treated as promoted.
Well. Yeah.
The entire time.
Yeah, so it's hard to look at FE9, unfortunately, and not just try to turn it into Radiant Dawn mechanically, because I think Radiant Dawn is brilliant, but...
Yeah. That is the hard thing of, like, there are so many ways I would like to change the Laguz to be more like Radiant Dawn, but I think in order to make it feel still like Path of Radiance, because I think the one thing the Path of Radiance has over Radiant Dawn is the Demi-Band is gross in terms of being good.
Yeah.
And Half Shift is gross in terms of being absolute trash.
Yeah. No, I do agree. Like, I think the gauge can stay the same in terms of like ticking up and down in FE9, but I would agree that like having more control over the shifting, unshifting, holding a max gauge until you're ready would be a lot more interesting and fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you wanted to say all of your Laguz units can start transformed, I would not see a problem with that.
I wouldn't see a problem with that either, honestly. I think that'd be kind of cool. Because like
why does Mordecai have to be untransformed to start?
Yeah, because like I get what they were going for. They're going for like, oh, you're supposed to deploy these two together so that as the flow of battle changes, when Leith is tapping out, Mordecai, you know, taps in. But like most people aren't even going to bother doing that. They're going to deploy Leith only. They're going to use Leith until she untransforms, and by then the map is almost over. Yeah, so I like that change. Adjacent to this, I have a change for the Flyer Laguz. And this is basically just because it's like this in FE10 and I like it better. I think Flyer Laguz should have Super Canto, like in FE10.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't.
Yeah. They don't because they want you to have to earn the Night Ring in order to give it to Rayson. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that is actually the reason, but I think that's really dumb because the Night Band is still useful just for an infantry unit. Like
I've never actually gotten it because there's always one suicidal Raven that just thinks he's him and attacks right into Ike or something.
Yeah, should have brought Shining, bro. He's built for it.
True.
But yeah, no, I do actually think that's the reason. But even if you do that, even if you give the Flyer Laguz Super Canto, you can still use the Night Band or the Night Ring on Ike or Rolf or Tormod or whatever. Like, it's still useful if you get it. It doesn't have to go to Rayson necessarily just to justify its place in the game. It's just not like it's a new item. It's in FE4, you know?
Yeah, and even though this does mean that the enemies would get a lot more annoying to fight too, when it comes to like Chapter 12 and whatnot, where it's like, oh, if you're not walling off the sides perfectly, you let one in, now they all can get in. It still is fine because you fight so few enemy flyers outside of the boat maps.
Yeah.
Or enemy, like, ravens, the boat maps, and then the winter maps of, like, 18 and 19. And that's about it. And then it's, like, the feral ones at the very end of the game.
Yeah, yeah. But even then, I don't think it would be all that bad, to be honest. Like,
Laguz are also one of the few enemies...
Even if they can't
Sorry, yeah. Laguz are also one of the few enemies you can reliably one round because you have Laguz swords and Laguz lances and whatnot.
Yeah. Late game, it gets a little tough with like tigers sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Those like 56 hit point tigers with 20 base speed are pretty rough to deal with.
Yeah, and the dragons, but the dragons I think are allowed to be like ridiculously bulky. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we agree on that. I always felt that was weird. Once I went to play FE10, I'm like, wait, they have Super Canto. Why didn't they always have that?
It feels natural. It feels like they should, and it feels wrong when they don't.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be these fast, agile flyers. They're already weaker in physical combat than the beasts. You don't need to force them to stay in melee range as well. It also just doesn't serve the fantasy of the unit.
Yeah, because you want them to like dive in, hit someone, and then like weave out, but you know, it doesn't even play into that sort of fantasy. So I would change that for sure.
I have one more real quick one that I'm not even sure if I fully believe in, but I just wanted to ask your thoughts on it.
Sure.
How do you feel about the Path of Radiance skill system relative to Radiant Dawn? And would you make any changes to make it more like Radiant Dawn? Like, for instance, being able to equip, unequip skill scrolls, or being able to have a unit starting skill be no point cost.
See, this is kind of like what I said earlier. Like Radiant Dawn mechanically is amazing to me, and I do like the skill system better. Like I've been on the record, I have admitted it is just better in Radiant Dawn. but I do still like where FE9's is at. I do like that in FE9, having an innate skill feels more like a part of that character's identity. And for me, like, some people I know don't really care about that. For me, that's, like, kind of important. Like, if you could just take skills off of people in Thracia and give them to other people, I feel like it would lose a lot of its charm. And, you know, in Tellius, like, I do think there is something to that. I think it's cool that Astrid is the Paragon unit. I think the game would be a lot less interesting if you could take it off Astrid and give it to Ike for no reason. In, you know, chapter 14. I think that would be kind of lame in comparison. But Radiant Dawn, it's fun because the game is harder and, you know, it kind of wants you to bring it a little more. And having that free sort of map-to-map customization, but it's not super committal, I think is right for the game it is. Given that you swap, you know, your groups very often, people have weird availabilities, and planning around that is super fun. So I don't think I would change it in FE9, but I do agree FE10 is better.
Yeah. I wouldn't change it either. I just wanted to kind of ask on that, because I know that if we didn't comment on it, someone's going to bring it up. But yeah, I would agree, especially with what you said on Radiant Dawn system works better because you're spending so much less time with any given unit that those skills then become, oh, hey, here's a resource I could spend around elsewhere, or I could leave them on this unit, who knows when the next time I'll see them is, but then I get a nice benefit for doing so, and so it becomes that nice choice. Whereas the Path of Radiance, because you build your army like a more traditional Fire Emblem, it's just like, okay, thanks, Tormod, for the free boot skill. Yep. And that just would be that, and then nobody would use Tormod anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, Tormod is one of the most interesting, like, quote-unquote Est or Nino type units, like, late-game, low-level units they've made, because he starts out super weak, but has this unique skill that only he has that is actually incredibly meaningful.
Yeah, and incredibly scarce. Like, it's not just something you can fix with bonus XP. You can't get more movement from bonus XP.
Exactly. It's not like, oh, he has aptitude, he has good growth rates. No, he has +2 base movement. Yeah. He ate the boots of the game. And there's still boots.
Yeah, exactly. 10 move Tormod. But no, that's basically how I'd sum it up. I think they're right for the games that they're in, basically.
Alrighty. And because you said we're not going to do any sort of like animation stuff or whatnot, that's all that I had for Path of Radiance.
Yeah, I do think talking like game speed is like outside the scope of what we're doing. I do think, though, animations, if you do choose to watch them, should show you the combat stats. I still can't believe that's not a thing.
Seriously. Like, having to... I don't know. We've had this technically since the very first game. Why is Path of Radiance the only game to make them disappear in animation?
Yeah, and this is the only animation-related thing that I have in Unlimits, because it's not like a speed thing, it's not like a graphical power thing. It's like, bro, this is in every other game.
It's just a bad UI thing.
Yeah. And the funny part is, like, this was my first game too, and I interpreted it as normal. Like, I just figured, well, on my turn, I get to look at the combat windows, so I know what's up. And I guess on enemy phase, well, it is their turn, so I guess it makes sense that I can't see the combat window. And then I played every other game, and I'm like, what is wrong with FE9? Why can't I see it? Makes no sense.
Yeah, good point there. I have no justification or defense of FE9's decision to hide those in animation.
Yeah. And then I have two more. I have two more Unlimits.
Go for it.
So this, oh boy, he's gonna defend Swordmasters again. Give Swordmasters 30 crit. I don't care. Things need to die. I don't care. Swordmasters are bad. Just give them 30
Swordmasters and Path of Radiance. Like, it's like, okay, you have Stefan, who's fine.
Yeah, he's solid.
You have Lucia, who arguably one of the worst units in the game.
Yep, would agree.
Zahark, who is okay if you put in the effort and train him right away.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Mia, who joins with the Slim Sword.
Yep.
I have no words. I have no words. They saw Mia and were like, you know what this unit needs? A weapon that's 2 points of might weaker than an iron sword.
Oh, man.
Got a crit and a hit and didn't even kill a wounded enemy.
Yup. I think they can have 30 crit and it still won't matter. I still think they'll kind of suck.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have this change for Radiant Dawn, though. I think the crit is fine in Radiant Dawn.
I mean, Radiant Dawn also just... Radiant Dawn is fascinating with how they do so many things.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that when we get to Radiant Dawn. But I would be fine with that. I
Okay.
think Swordmasters need something. And sure, you don't have heroes in this game to compare them to, but you don't need... You don't need a pile of gold to say that to the pile of dirt that it's a pile of dirt.
Yeah.
You don't need the comparison there. It's pretty obvious to anyone who's seeing it. And I'm sorry for all the Mia fans.
I am one of them.
We don't need to have the Myrmidons and Swordmasters be that bad and continue to be that bad. Of like, you struggle to double Paladins already. And even if you did double, you wouldn't be close to critting them. Like, close to killing them. Let them have crits.
Let them have fun.
It does make enemy Swordmasters incredibly terrifying. Because they actually have stats to back them up, unlike your playable Swordmasters. Like, all enemy Swordmasters in hard mode are basically Stefan.
Yeah, but I would honestly prefer that, because the way it is now is like, you have your Marcia, your Jill, your Oscar, your Kieran, whatever, and it's like, oh, a Swordmaster? What are you gonna do, 2 damage? There's like no chance of crit unless you maybe have a killing edge. Like, who cares?
There's that one Swordmaster in the final map that has Astra.
Yeah, the one guy.
And it weakens him to proc it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would be okay with that actually being like something to mention. You know, it's not going to be the scariest unit on the map all of a sudden, but it's something to mention. It's something to pay attention to. Because one thing that I'm sure someone has said before or suggested is like, well, why don't we just add the wind swords from FE10 to FE9 so that they also have a 1-2 range? But I would rather...
Did you hear what we were talking about when it came to Paladins?
Yes, exactly. Game. That's exactly where I'm going. I would rather...
5 might 1-2 range does not solve the problem.
Yeah, I would much rather lean away from 1-2 range, like across the board, like with what I talked about in Clash, than lean into it by just adding more of it.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone had that thought and wondered if I didn't think about it, that is my reasoning there. And then I have a goofy one, a goofy unlimit. I think
let's goof.
The bridge chapter is rightfully hated. I have it memorized, so I don't have to get mad at it, but like, I get why people hate it. I also think it was kind of a missed opportunity because I feel like it could have been more interesting if there was a way for the player to discover them. Like if a thief or one of the Hawk Lagoos or something could like spot them and disarm them or something like that. That could maybe be an interesting way to deal with it. Almost like a Dragon Vein kind of thing, or like how Niles or Kaze can disable traps in Ninja Hell.
Yeah.
I think that would at least be more interesting than just walking through and, oh, there's a pitfall. There's no way I could have known that. You know?
Yeah, or even if it's like they trigger it but keep moving and don't get stunned.
Yeah, something like that to where it's like, it makes you play a little differently, but you're still given a tool to deal with something that they're trying out from like, you know, the game design table. Like they're letting you in on it a little bit, and I think that could have been neat. I don't think the map would be like a fan favorite if we did that, but I think it would be a lot less hated.
I think a majority of people would still like not deploy thieves and hate the map because that's what people do for
Fair.
Fog of War. But
yeah.
But I mean, I also am someone who I'm a sucker for anything that will get people to deploy more thieves in more maps outside of just opening chests. So
yeah. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a thief. Like, I also had the idea because in FE9 and in FE10 with pitfalls, if you have a flyer end their turn on top of a pitfall, like before anyone has stepped in it, you can move your units through that tile, like through them, and they won't fall in the pit. But that only works when you know that they're there.
You know that they're there and you have not activated it yet.
Yeah, so I feel like if a flyer could be like... Because that could be a cool thing that FE9... I mean, FE9 already does this. It could be something to hint to the player of like, hey, send your flyers first to check out if there are any pitfall traps, but not too far because there are ballistas, you know, like play that sort of game. You do have a full guard. And
yeah,
it could
you
be
also
something
have
that they can spot, and you could play around it better.
Yeah, and I mean, you have situations like that several times with the whole, like, you know, what's his name? George and David, I want to say? The twins?
Daniel. George and Daniel.
Daniel and George, their strategy game that they play in the 2-star base conversations where Ike comes in and they're like, oh, by the way, if you were like on a boat and had to defend something, how would you defend it? Ike's like, oh, easy, I would put some strong units like along the bridges. And he's like, well, yeah, but what if you just invaded the other person's boat? Well, that would work too. It would just open up your defenses. And then the next map is the boat map. And it's like, brilliant way of introducing like basically the Advanced Wars war room into Fire Emblem in a diegetic way. Yeah. I loved it, and I wish there was more. This is totally a tangent aside from the whole unban list, but just because you brought it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that could be something of like, it's a little bit of an esoteric mechanic, but being able to be like, hey, have your flyer units be able to lift your units up and across the gaps or something. Maybe you, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know exactly
however they would want to tell it to you.
Entail, like whether they, I don't know, maybe the tiles glow when a flyer's nearby to show you like they spot something. I don't know. This might be outside the scope.
We will get into some glowing tiles later.
Oh boy. Okay. So I don't know if we need to include that, but because it seems more like a ROM hack idea than anything else, to be honest with you. But I do think there was a missed opportunity.
But I wouldn't mind just seeing it.
Okay. Yeah, so that is my entire list. I don't think we like disagreed on a single thing. Like, do we need to do the full review? Do you think?
No, I think we're good on that. Like, if you wanted to do a full review just for upkeep for the YouTube viewers, but
sure. Okay. So I'll just go very fast, but I do think we agreed on everything. So we have no bans for FE9. And then for limits, we have removing the Chapter 25 movement penalties on the Eat Rock map. We have reducing 1 to 2 ranged weapons in late game, but particularly on Clash. I think it would just make it a better experience, honestly.
Yeah.
And then we had your bonus XP level cap by chapter. So have a maximum cap that a unit can reach with bonus XP in the base, and it would increase as the playthrough continues on. And then we just have a bunch of unlimits. We have mage movement +1. We have the ability to hold the Laguz gauge and shift and unshift at the player's discretion. We have arm scrolls increase all weapon types by 1 rank so that they're actually kind of useful. Swordmaster 30 crit, 3 times bonus damage. Astra now hits for full damage. We did discuss about like some of the other ones just getting their FE10 versions or just not having lethality and Colossus be so bad, because there is a trade-off. They're in limited supply, not everyone can get them. We had show combat stats and animations. That just feels like an oversight. And give Flyer Laguz Super Canto after attacking and all that sort of stuff.
The only one that I can think of now that we didn't say that I think shows that both of us don't particularly care about it as much as other people.
I just remembered one too. I wonder if you're thinking the same thing. But
we didn't ban Biorhythm.
Oh, Biorhythm. Okay, that wasn't it. I, honest to God...
Not the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about Biorhythm. I think it's fine. I think it's a little annoying, but I think it's fine. It wouldn't be Path of Radiance without it.
To be honest, though, I pay attention to Biorhythm in Radiant Dawn, and I actually kind of like it. In Path of Radiance, I, like, never check it except for the Black Knight fight, because hit rates actually matter in that fight. Whereas otherwise, it doesn't, like, super matter past, like, Chapter 10.
Yeah. I would maybe say I wish that it was as visible as it was in Radiant Dawn.
That
like,
I could
just
agree
on
with.
looking at the unit, because seeing the massive up arrow and down arrow was like, oh, that's why I have horrible hit rate here.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that, like, UI change. Like, just on the mini unit window have the Biorhythm arrow. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
I
just thought I would mention it because I just mentally saw YouTube comments of like, I'm gonna #1 ban Biorhythm, and I'm like, gotta get ahead of that one. Not that I think that they would be like wholly wrong to ban Biorhythm, but I just don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, I honestly never pay attention to it in FE9. The one I just remembered at the very end here was in Unlimit. I guess it's an Unlimit. But just make fixed mode not weird. I think it should just be fixed mode in the same way that Engage was fixed mode. Not in the way that, like, oh, Ike has a 40 or 45% defense growth, so you have to give him bonus XP in multiples of 2 so that he actually gets defense on the next level up. Screw that. Stupid.
I had a whole video on this basically talking about exactly that, where it's like you have fixed mode, but it's not fixed mode in the way people think it's fixed mode, and therefore it is infinitely worse.
Yeah.
Because then it's also, oh, what weapon you're using affects your fixed growth rates. The last enemy you killed or attacked before leveling up affects your growth rates.
Yeah. It's just like, so weird.
It is so weird, and I'm just like, if you want a fixed mode, if you want to call it fixed mode, that's fine, but give us a real fixed mode, not this weird, like, gimmicky, ooh, I'm training myself in a really certain way by only using steel weapons and attacking bandits so I can level up my strength, and then it's like...
I mean, it's about as interesting for me as, like, EV training in Pokemon. Like, I don't personally care. It's just... I don't find it very, very interesting. I feel like you could just make a normal fixed mode.
I feel like if you wanted to have a weird gimmick mode, you should really be, like, all in on it. Not just like, hey, we have this little gimmicky thing, but we decided to not implement it into the full game and just have it as this New Game Plus option, and then disguise it as fixed mode.
Yeah. I think
it feels like it's lying to you.
It's advertised wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, but I do believe that is our list with those last two little changes. Biorhythm indicator on unit window and make an actual normal fixed mode. I don't even play on fixed mode, to be honest. I always do random just because stats aren't all that important. To be honest, like, this game's easy. Except Ike, yeah. So, like, I just do random because I like funny, weird characters, like getting whack level ups. Like, one of the most viewed videos on my channel is like this 10-second video of the weirdest Ike I've ever gotten. He was like capped out 2020.
Didn't he like cap out magic or something?
No, so he had like 18 strength or something. Wait, his cap is 26, I think. He had like 18 defense and capped res at 22. I was so mad.
That Ike is not beating the Black Knight. I'm sorry.
No, because it was at the final chapter where, like, Ike gets to make the speech or whatever, and I say in the video, I'm like, this Ike? Nah, this Ike wouldn't give an inspirational speech. This guy stinks.
Oh, that's why I love you, man.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
All right. So yeah, that is our FE9 list. Let us know what you would change, what you agree with, disagree with, and we will move on very shortly to FE10. Okay, it is FE10 Banlist time. FE10 is an amazing game, and I think we both said to each other, we're probably going to have a lot of unlimits on this one too. I think I will start the bans this time, if that is all right with you.
Go for it.
Okay. Now, I did say, I'm a hypocrite, bro, because I said in the last portion of this video, it takes a lot for me to ban a map. But I'm banning a map in this game, and it is not a Part 4 route map. It is not one of the Dawn Brigade, like, Part 3 maps. I am banning Part 1, Chapter 9. This map is...
Micaiah alone?
Yeah, Micaiah alone with the Black Knight in Fog of War. I hate this map with every fiber of my being, every atom of my body. It provides nothing. On a first playthrough, I think it is neat. It is interesting from a story perspective, but it is incredibly frustrating to actually play because Jared is not on the map when you start. He shows up as you kill other enemies in the Fog of War map where Micaiah is getting one-rounded. It's not all that interesting after you've seen it the first playthrough. And what it turns into on a second playthrough and beyond is you either get frustrated because you can't see anything and Micaiah's getting one shot and you don't know exactly where to go. And eventually, even if you like bunker down in one corner and wait and watch the Black Knight kill everything, eventually you will have to move. There will be enemies that you have to kill in order to make Jared spawn, and you don't know when that will be. So it either stays a frustrating experience, but you've seen the trick before because you've read the story already, or you do what I do, which is you take some kind of reference, if you don't remember it turn for turn, and you do the same exact moves to get the same exact outcome so that Jared spawns in the same spot every time and you get out of there without a headache. It is either frustrating or incredibly boring, and I just don't think it needs to exist. I think this very easily could have been a cutscene. I think this can stay like a neat story moment, but I think it provides nothing in gameplay. There's no real XP for Micaiah to get on this map. The Black Knight is capped out. He has no problem destroying everything on it. There's no like room for error for him. And even little things that you think might be kind of interesting, like, oh, what if I rescued Micaiah with the Black Knight to protect her? The game doesn't let you do that. Oh, great. Okay, so it's like, dude, this map doesn't need to exist. It doesn't deserve to be a map. I think it can just be a story moment and we can move on. I want it gone so bad. I want to hear your thoughts.
So on repeat playthroughs, I understand and at least partially agree, because what it is a puzzle map, and a puzzle can be interesting when you first encounter it, but once you know the solution to a puzzle, it just kind of becomes rote. And also when it comes as like a story point or story map, it's very much, okay, once you experience the story first, it's like, yeah, the rest of it is, you don't gain nearly as much from follow-up. What I will say is, on a first playthrough, my first playthrough at least, going into base camp and seeing I only have Micaiah, few things have terrified me more in Fire Emblem than seeing that and just wondering, what is about to happen to the rest of my army? How dark are we gonna get here? And then it turned out, though, it was just Micaiah was just ambushed alone. But making you think that is like, the base camp moment was more impactful than the map itself, which I think is weird. I don't know how to put it. It's because it's like the game would not be as memorable were it not for that like if it didn't have that particular base camp moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't think it's worth having such a negative experience map, particularly on multiple playthroughs. And Path of Radiant Dawn has a number of these maps where it's like you say puzzle maps, or it's like it's just force deployed units that you've never used before. It has a number of those due to the act structure.
Yeah.
I think this one feels more egregious because unlike those other maps where it's like, okay, if I wanted to use these units, there's an opportunity to level them up here a bit more. Even if it's like, yeah, sure, the Marcia map with Alencia, Marcia, and then Har is like, you're not really leveling up Alencia and Marcia there. But like you could do interesting things, I guess. It feels different, this Micaiah map, where it's right before the end. And then it's like, it almost feels like it's a trick to get you to dump bonus experience into Micaiah, so that way she's not under-leveled when she gets a forced promotion at the end of the next chapter.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I feel like it needs to be a chapter. But even then, it's like, does it really need to be a chapter? You're right that in retrospect, it could have just been a cutscene and been fine. The rest of them are partying. Micaiah comes out. She gets ambushed by Jared. The Black Knight comes in. She stops the Black Knight from killing him, and then has the, oh no, something terrible is about to happen.
Yeah, and like, I've gone on record and said my least favorite part of Radiant Dawn actually is not anything to do with Part 4. My least favorite part of Radiant Dawn is Part 2. And the reason for that is because those maps feel the most samey run to run than any other section of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And 1.9 is that, but also infinitely more frustrating if you don't do like exact perfect moves when you can't see most of the map anyway, and your game over condition is getting obliterated by everything. Like you sneeze near her, she dies. And I just don't think it's an interesting problem to solve. And it really is like so stupid with how the reinforcements work and how Jared works. It's really down to like the tile. I kid you not, because like I have a reference point. It's a very, very old like Don LTC video that I replicated in my forced units only playthrough because I had to do that map. Unfortunately, I couldn't just ban it. And I remember when I was doing that, I was like, this is boring, but thank God I have a way to just like confirm Jared's position and I can get out of there with no casualties, no headache. But I remember I did it like on stream, maybe like a few months later, and I thought I remembered every single move. But like the second to last move, I had Micaiah one space off of where she normally was. And then I moved the Black Knight down to normally where Jared would be, and he did not reveal himself. And I was like, oh no. And within like a turn or something, Micaiah got attacked by something she would normally never face. And I had to do the whole thing over again. I'm like, really? Like, I watched it back. I'm like, really? One tile is the difference for, like, where Jared spawns?
Mm-hmm.
I hate it. I really do. I don't think it is interesting gameplay. I think it could have been a story scene. It just sucks. I just don't think it needs to be there.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. That's fair.
I don't know. I don't know that you are, like, completely convinced on it, but...
I'm not completely convinced, but I think I would be more okay with banning this map than I was even banning the map that we limited from Path of Radiance.
Yeah.
Because I do agree that ultimately, when it comes to gameplay-wise, the experience it gives it's okay on a first playthrough with like the super tense atmosphere. But then after you know what's going to happen after that first playthrough, it's like a horror game, ultimately.
Yeah.
It's trying to turn Fire Emblem into a horror game. And the thing about a horror game is that it's only ever scary the first time through.
Yeah. And even then, I feel like there's better ways to create tension, but not approach frustration.
Yeah.
And I think this is much too on the frustration side. Because, like, if you make a mistake in this map, it doesn't mean, whoa, that was scary, let's learn from that. It means Micaiah's dead, start over.
Yeah.
It's very binary.
We will see future experiments with minimal deployment maps in Fates some of which are more successful than others. But I think as like an early attempt to mess around with a minimal deployment map, I kind of give it a little bit of credit of like, oh, they're trying new things. But in retrospect, when I isolate of like, is this actually good for the game though?
Yeah.
It is that at the very least of past that first playthrough experience, it's not additive to the game. It is actively subtractive to it.
Yeah. But that is my only ban, and like on any given playthrough of Radiant Dawn, this is the one map that every time I wish I could skip. I don't really feel that way about any other map in this game. Although some of them, you know, aren't as fun as some others, I don't feel so strongly that I'm like, this should not be in the game, except for this one. But that's basically the end of my rant for that. I just don't think it is... I think it's interesting, but I don't think it's actually additive. I don't think it makes the game better by existing, especially on repeat playthroughs. I think it would be cool too if, like, after your first playthrough, like we've talked about, we don't really like the stuff that's like locked behind a first completed playthrough. Like, you know, you can't play Hector hard mode until you play Hector normal. Like, if you had a new game plus of this game and could skip this, I think that'd be okay too.
This game does so many things on New Game Plus, and spoiler alert, I'm not wanting to remove all of them, and in fact there's one or two that I want to add to it. I would be okay adding a you can skip this map on New Game Plus.
Okay. I will compromise with that. I think that would be totally fine.
Because like I said, like my memory of this map is like very distinct of my first encountering the base and then the map and then all of that. But yeah, as soon as after that initial experience, it becomes so much of a slog of like it just like it's a slog with no reward.
Yeah.
So
and the cool part about Radiant Dawn is it keeps track of your clears. Like, on your save file, it has a clear number. So I think if the clear number is clear file 1 or above, I think you could get an option to just skip over this map.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, and I'd be fine with that.
Okay, cool.
You said that was your only ban?
Correct. That is my only ban.
I have two, one of which I'm not sure technically qualifies as a ban. Do you want the solid one or the not sure if qualifies one first?
Do the solid one first.
Alrighty, my solid one is get rid of the bronze tier of weapons and just push all the ranks back down so the S rank is the top again.
Ooh.
Like, you can still have, like, okay, like with the strike ranks, you know, S becomes the power level that SS is and whatnot, but I actively do not think that bronze adds anything to this game. It only seems to exist as a way to nerf classes that get a secondary weapon on promotion, or to be like, hey, here's a 50 use like really cheap, really inexpensive, can't crit weapon for setting up kills for other units, which you could have as an option alongside Iron at E rank, but there's no reason to make it an entirely separate rank of weapons, especially when that means pushing your javelins and hand axes and very important weapons down further, deeper into the weapon level tiers on like, okay, we don't need Meg to be even worse when she gets lances on promotion to general, that she gets E rank lances and can only use bronze lances. Like, that's basically all that bronze being a tier is adding to the game. Is an extra nerf on Meg.
Of all people.
It's so bad. It is so bad. I hate the way that bronze weapons interact, particularly in Radiant Dawn. I think later games have made it acceptable to be stuck at bronze in some ways, but I think Radiant Dawn in particular is just not reasonable at all.
Yeah, I mean, bronze weapons in Fates are peak, like specifically Conquest. Like, they're amazing. But
Yeah.
I agree. They kind of they kind of serve no real purpose in this game. I think they're kind of dumb. So like you would adjust all the mastery weapons to just normal S rank.
Yeah, the mastery weapons can be S rank, the like Tempest Blade and whatever else is S rank. I think that might even be the only S rank weapon, can be A rank.
Okay. That's fair.
Like there are so many weird choices with what the weapon rank tiers are in Radiant Dawn that it's just like make them a little bit more. I know that, Radiant Dawn standardized weapons so much in a weird way. And maybe this might mess with their whole like splitting of you have the basic weapons and then the heavy weapons, at a one tier above or something, but I don't feel like the game really loses all that much by crunching it back down again.
Okay. I mean, I don't really have an objection to that, to be honest.
And even if you're not crunching it all back down, at the very least get rid of the bronze tier weapons.
Yeah, bronze sucks.
Yeah.
We can move to limits then. Would you like to go first or me? I only have one for this one.
I also only have one, and it's the same one I had for Path of Radiance.
Oh, bonus XP level cap. Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's not as important as it is in Path of Radiance, so I wouldn't be too mad if we didn't implement it, but it is something where it's like I was trying to find a limit for Radiant Dawn, and I was scratching my head for quite a while. But I think that it's like it's so weird though when it comes to Radiant Dawn, because you have Master Seals and Master Crowns coming in really early, and then like what counts and what doesn't gets really hazy. And so I think this one's definitely a much shakier defense than Path of Radiance.
Yeah.
So
well,
I wouldn't. Yeah.
I would say like the difference here is like a common, or maybe not even common, but a somewhat common play pattern in FE9 is giant bonus XP dump on Marcia, Jill, etc. Yeah. That doesn't really happen in Radiant Dawn just because of how bonus XP has already been changed. Like, it is more beneficial generally to wait on bonus XP because you want to cap stats and then bonus XP to guarantee other stats. So I think it kind of like polices itself in a way.
Yeah. And that's fair. I the more I talk about this, the more I'm like, I probably wouldn't even defend this limit anymore now that I've raised it.
Yeah. And plus, the thing too is like we talked about in FE9, there's a bonus XP like penalty, quote unquote, after you are level 10 base class, where it like costs more per level. But in Radiant Dawn,
and the penalty in Radiant Dawn is super extreme.
It is super extreme, and the units, generally speaking, that you're using bonus XP on are already tier 2 or tier 3. So you lose bonus XP like really quickly. So those big dumps don't really happen for that reason as well. So I wouldn't do that personally. I think it kind of works the way it is. I do like how it is in this game a lot.
Yeah, I've been trying to think of another limit, and I just have not been able to think of one. So
Okay.
You said you had one, so
Yes.
Go for it.
So this is specifically for one map, but I could see it being for the 4 maps before it. We're talking about part 4. So I think the Oliver map in part 4 should be a defeat boss map and not a route map. And I think you could make the case for part 4 prologue through this chapter, because the Izuka map is already a defeat boss. Make them all defeat boss instead of route. And part of the reason they are route maps is they want to make sure that, you know, you have your super units for the tower, even though they give you 5 royals that are just end game ready. But making it defeat boss instead does not take that option away from you. You still can play the map slower and kill every unit if you want to and kill the boss last. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. But if you just plan on bringing in 5 royals and Ike and you're just set with that, I don't think you need to be here as long as the game wants you to currently. It's just a little bit more freedom in the playstyle department, where if you want to have someone super underleveled get a lot of kills and wipe out the map very slowly, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to have the Leonardo power fantasy. I am on your team, brother. But not everybody feels like doing that. Not everybody needs to do that. So I think you could save a little bit of headache, make part 4 a little bit less tedious. So that's basically it. I just think they could beat all defeat boss maps, honestly.
That's fair. I think it's especially tedious in the ones which have large amounts of reinforcements, where it's like if you don't all kill in by a certain turn, it then becomes into chasing down reinforcements across like 3 different far corners of these, frankly, slightly too big maps as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes they spawn in the middle of the map because, sure, why not, I guess? They're teleporting in. Like, my only resistance against that would be that, you know, they're kind of setting, like, in narrative, in lore, oh, they're arriving, you know, it's Astro's chosen and you need to fight them all off, but there's nothing saying that they couldn't be, oh, their commander's been defeated, they're going to teleport away, you know? And then with Oliver's map specifically, there's, like, the whole, okay, when Oliver recruits himself to your side on enemy phase, that then forcibly ends the chapter.
Yeah, but also that's not happening until you've cleared all that out, like, to begin with. You're not just throwing Raphael, like, into that giant group at the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it would basically just be, okay, you can skip the, like, the reinforcement soldiers that are, like, starting from your spawn location.
Yeah, exactly. I just think that would make it less annoying if you don't feel the need to, like, micromanage for, like, really low level units. And I also don't think that, like, you mentioned, like, the lore part of it, which I do get, but at the same time, like, it's even illustrated that when your chosen 10 go into the tower, everybody else is said to be outside the tower still fighting those same kind of guys that pop up. But the game doesn't show that because it's not really interesting to show. I think you don't have to show everything. So this is more in line of that, where it's like, yeah, we can say that, like, you know, after they killed the commander, they got the last couple on the map. You don't necessarily have to play that out yourself.
Yeah, and you know, if they feel the need to, the writers can always kind of write themselves out or around these things. It's not like they haven't done so before in Radiant Dawn as well, of just, why are we fighting? Because you are.
Yeah, and I do think these part 4 maps, I mean, one, they would get less hate if they were defeat boss, but I also think a lot of them would become more fun, because you could play them in, like, a faster, more interesting, risky kind of way if you wanted to, and you still have the option to play it slow. It's kind of like the defense I had for a lot of Revelation maps. Not so much the early ones, yikes. But a lot of Rev maps, like, there's a lot of enemies, but you still have an objective that can be finished fast if you want to. And if you're really in the sandbox mood, if you really need to milk every drop of experience from the map, you can play it as slow as you like, basically.
Yeah.
So I just think that would make it better. But that is my only limit.
No, that makes sense, and I would definitely be more up to defending that limit than my own, so...
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we can put that on if you want, and then we can move to the meat of the video, which is going to be the unbans.
Yep, buffing Tellius yet again.
Oh, boy. And here comes... I'll let you start if you want.
Sure.
We can just go back and forth on them.
I have a really simple one. Show enemy ranges on the highest difficulty. Stupid change. I can't believe that's
have that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, I figured you did. I know
a number of these are going to have overlap.
Yeah. Like, I know all the movement penalties. I'm fine. This is the same defense for the bridge chapter in FE9. I know where all the pitfalls are. That doesn't make it good. It doesn't make it fun. It doesn't change anything mechanically about the game. It just makes you count.
Yeah, just because I went through the process of memorizing how many movement tiles every unit has and how much penalty every type of terrain has on every type of unit, just so every random general or paladin didn't like team up and kill me because enemies actually deal damage in Radiant Dawn, unlike Path of Radiance sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because I did that doesn't mean everyone else has to do that too.
Yeah, exactly. It's just dumb. And there's a reason that people have like hacked the game to just put that back. It's stupid. Because it's not even the kind of change that is so quirky that it's like, all right, that's kind of funny. Like it adds nothing to gameplay, and it's not quirky enough to be like a funny alternate mode. It's just dumb.
Yeah. It's like, I'm fine with them changing battle save to,
normal suspend, yeah.
To suspend, yeah. I'm fine with them changing that to suspend in hard mode. I think that is a reasonable increase lever in difficulty.
Yep.
I'm more shaky on weapon triangle, but we can maybe discuss that on whether weapon triangle should or shouldn't exist on hard mode. I think it mostly only affects Edward.
I'm down to discuss it. I will say I don't care, to be honest. Like I feel like an outlier in the Fire Emblem community. I have maybe never cared about the weapon triangle, honestly. I've never found it particularly interesting, and it doesn't take away from my experience whether it's there or not. Like, Thracia weapon triangle does not matter. I don't care. That game is still fun. And I only play hard mode Radiant Dawn. I don't care about the weapon triangle. But for a lot of people, that seems to be like a sticking point. And I think the best argument for adding it back is just that the other two modes have it. Whereas if Radiant Dawn never had a weapon triangle, then I'd be like, no, don't add a weapon triangle. You know what I mean?
It's the fact that the other modes have it, it's displayed in the menus and everything, and it's something that the game does not tell you that it's removing when you play hard mode. And so I went all of my playthroughs, I assumed it was there until I learned that it wasn't from a video that someone else made talking about it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like, I would not have known that Radiant Dawn didn't have a weapon triangle on hard mode if not for, like I said, watching videos where people talked about it.
Yeah.
Because nothing about the game implies that there is no longer a weapon triangle. I think that could be a reasonable, like, option, or at least something to be like, hey, tell the player these changes are effective on hard mode. But at the very least, I think that it shouldn't be taken away without mentioning it to the player when you start the difficulty.
I don't remember, to be honest, if it is there. The only thing I can confirm is that on hard mode, when you go to like the combat forecast, you no longer see like the green and red arrows for the weapons.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I forget where, if at all, it says it.
Yeah. I think I just didn't process that the arrows were no longer there.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's not like something was added to tell you that it's not there. It's just something you wouldn't.
Because
really
I mean, they're also removing your
notice.
ability to see enemy attack ranges too. Why wouldn't they remove the visible aspect of the weapon triangle? Just make you remember it. You know, it sounds like the type of stupid change that hard mode did that I wouldn't be surprised had they done it as well. You know,
dude, that is a really good point, actually. Like, just the fact that it's not there, like the enemy range is not there.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay, yeah.
And in terms of who it affects and what it affects, like I said, it really only affects Edward. Like, I'll be straight up, this comes up a lot, and people are like, oh, weapon triangle matters so much. It's like, weapon triangle matters a lot for Myrmidons, and not really a lot for other units. It matters a little bit with, like, axe fighters against lance armors, but especially since they've rounded out what weapons every different enemy uses and mixed it up in Radiant Dawn, where Radiant Dawn was the first game to give all different class types a variant that uses every different weapon type as their primary.
Yeah.
because like you started seeing it with the Cavaliers. I mean, technically they did that before as well in like SNES games, but like you started seeing it with the Cavaliers having different weapon types in Path of Radiance, and then they made armors have different starting weapon types in Radiant Dawn. I think it doesn't really make my reason for keeping the weapon triangle is just that it doesn't make sense why you're mixing up what weapons the enemy has, like, within the same base type of unit, if the weapon triangle is not a factor and doesn't matter. Maybe it makes some difference because just the base stats of the weapons are different, but it feels really odd to go out of your way to mix up of like, hey, here's a sword armor, and then an axe armor, and then a lance armor, and then to have no weapon triangle on top of that. It's not to say that the weapon triangle is like this mandatory, super important thing. It just feels like they removed it for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I said, I don't really care either way. Like, I don't know. I've just never found it interesting, except for Fates. I actually like it in Fates. Like, I actively think about it in Fates. Especially with dual weapons, like having a correct dual weapon is so crazy, and having a wrong dual weapon is like so punishable that I actually kind of like that. But normally it's not so drastic, it feels like. I don't know.
When it's only a 10-1 swing, it's not a huge issue. I just, you feel a weirdness. The fact that there are so many, like, I just think, you feel the weirdness. The fact that there are so many other things in the game that emphasize weapon type and weapon diversity, and then they remove the triangle out from under you, so none of that matters anymore. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that
and maybe
makes sense.
it matters somewhat, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so are we adding it back, I guess? Maybe we should.
Put it on the list, and you can decide if you want to strike it, I guess, at the end. I think it's less important than maybe some of the other unbans we'll get to.
Yeah, because like I said, like if Radiant Dawn had no weapon triangle in any mode, and someone said, "Oh, I hate this Fire Emblem, it doesn't even have the weapon triangle," I'd be like, dude, stop being a baby. It doesn't have to have the weapon triangle. But the fact that it is in the game in all but one mode is weird. It's hard to really defend. It's just kind of strange.
For people who are like, oh, you just love the weapon triangle. I love Shadows of Valentia, and I think adding the weapon triangle to it would have been a terrible mistake.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, Fire Emblem can exist without the weapon triangle. It has in the past, and it will in the future. But I think that when the game is doing so much to try and do stuff with the weapon triangle, it feels weird to then suddenly not have it.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so for now, we'll add both of those back for the highest difficulty. I still think I will love playing hard mode Radiant Dawn if it had a weapon triangle. It's not gonna like ruin the game for me. But I think it's fine either way, honestly. So I guess your turn now. What do you got?
Sure. Do we want to go for stuff that was also featured in Path of Radiance, or you want to start stuff that's newer?
Oh, sure. Are you giving mages movement again?
Yeah, I'm fixing mages with movement. I think the tomes base stats are better.
I agree.
In this, so I don't think they need to be increased. But mages, my goodness, need faster weapon experience gain. Technically, I think everyone needs faster weapon experience gain, but especially mages and Lagoos. I would love the ability to forge at least some non-basic tomes, L and maybe even Arc tomes. And mages need higher speed caps.
I agree.
There's no reason why sages would have less speed than generals.
Yeah, speed caps are definitely weird for this game, especially tier 2. Like, Soren's tier 2 speed cap is 23, which I believe is, like, Ike's base. Which is really bad.
My speed. I am still getting doubled.
Yeah, watch out for that
That should
sword
not
master.
be a thing.
Yeah. So I think it should be a little higher, both for tier 2 and for tier 3, because his tier
doesn't
3
need
cap
to
is 34,
outpace-
I think. Or 32?
Yeah, it's low enough that he still is. I forget exactly what it is, but it's like it's low. No, wait, well, that's what it is. I think it is 33 or 34 because it's low enough that even with White Pool, he can't double auras.
Yeah. So his max speed. Oh my god, it's even worse than I thought.
32.
It's 30.
30.
His max stat, or yeah, his max speed in Arc Sage, Radiant Dawn. Oh no, that's Ilyana's. Ilyana's is 30. God, that's terrible. But Soren and Bastion is 32. So
32,
that
okay.
means even if you have White Pool, you are not doubling auras. That is correct. That's so bad.
And it's like, I can see not wanting to give every class the ability to double, but really? Sages? Like, not even like your quote-unquote fast sage and your wind arch sage?
Yeah, I mean, even Shinin's speed cap is 34. That's enough to double auras with White Pool.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just...
Come on, man.
Yeah. So, plus one base move, bring him up to other infantry. Higher speed caps, even if just like 2 points higher, I think becomes far more reasonable.
Yeah, I think 34 is totally fine.
Yeah, faster weapon experience gain, but that could apply for all classes, but especially, like I said, mages and Lagoos, because grinding strike rank is miserable.
Okay.
And I would love to be able to forge non-basic tomes as well. Like forge L's, maybe even forge arcs when you can forge silvers. Just let us level the weapon ranks, because again, leveling magic sucks. And then give us something to use once we've leveled those ranks. That's not just goddess blessed bolting.
Yeah, fair enough. That was fun though. I did that on one playthrough with Ilyana.
Oh yeah, no, it's what you do with mages. I had a run where I brought every possible mage into the tower, and I had so many siege tomes. It was great.
Yeah.
I wish my mages were useful in any other respect outside of that.
Yeah, no, what was it, 2 playthroughs ago, I did that with Micaiah Purge, and then Soren Blizzard and Ilyana bolting. I did that exact thing. I just enchanted those. It's funny, but like they need some more juice. So yeah, I agree with all those. Good thing we have a mage defender in the chat.
Hey, I made the video that Tellius mages suck.
Yep.
I know that they are bad, and I wish that they were not bad, because I love the design and character of like all the mages. Even the fact that Ilyana's personality is that of a tapeworm, I don't care. She's still cute and funny.
Fair enough. Okay, I agree with all of those. And then I have one that is also going to be very quick. Give Fiona +5 luck. And I'm not joking.
This sounds like a very specific number that maybe comes with the story. Please explain.
Yes, it does. So, Radiant Dawn, I think, is an awesome game to Iron Man, except for like these very key moments that really suck. And one of those moments is on Fiona's chapter. It's 1-6 part 2. That's right.
162, yeah.
Where there is going to come a point where Fiona is like right in front of that bridge coming to your section of the map, and she's going to fight a Myrmidon. And that Myrmidon doubles her. And because Myrmidons in this game have the +5 crit skill, he has 5% crit exactly on her and 2 chances to crit. If she dies, it is a game over, and a crit will kill her. If she has +5 luck, it really doesn't change anything in the unit balance department, but it removes this like random frustration game over thing that is out of your control, and would just make it better to Iron Man. That's really it. I'm not really getting into like unit specific, like, oh, this unit's bad, they need buffs, this unit needs nerfs. I'm not really into that, but take away this like stupid like unavoidable, potentially game over condition that he has 2 rolls on. That's the worst part, that he doubles her. So just remove that. Just give her +5 luck.
Look, that sounds like the most elegant way to prevent the chapter from being Battle Before Dawn 2, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, exactly. Because everything else, like if he doesn't crit her and you play well, that chapter is amazing. I like it a lot. But if he does crit her, especially if you're on an Iron Man, you either have to make an exception or the run is over. And I think that just sucks.
Yeah. It's no one likes losing a chapter due to absolutely no fault of their own with something they could not prevent. And while Radiant Dawn is full of green unit moments, that is definitely the worst of them. Of like, it's turn 1, you can't stop it.
Yeah. Or
turn 2 or 3 or whenever they turn.
Yeah, it'll be like turn 2 to 3. But even if you're moving like max move and like clearing out the enemies in the bottom and trying to reach them, like she's going to fight that guy once. It's just such a simple thing to reduce frustration for no reason. Because the other option is remove the +5 crit skill from Myrmidons, but I'm not doing that. I think that's fine.
No, exactly.
So yeah, that's it. That's really it. Fiona could get more buffs. I acknowledge that, but I'm not interested in that, to be honest.
It's like, here's the bare minimum. We're okay having a bad unit. At least, like, you can give a bad unit good luck stat.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
And then I have one that's kind of similar about green units, if you want to hear that as well. So this is about the chapter where Jill, Zyric, and Taronio are green units. And I have adjusted my view on this over time a little bit, because I used to think that they should just be blue units, you know, like Thracia style. But I actually don't think you need to do that. There are ways to play to maximize their survival. The best thing you can do is to bait the Fire Mage in the top left of the map, turn 1 to come toward you and not toward Jill. That is like the best thing that you can do to keep them alive. But there is always a chance that I don't like, where Zyric and Jill typically get 3-shot by enemies on that map. If they take 2 hits, they are alive and will heal on the next turn. If they take 1 hit, they will attack. And that is so terrible. And the only thing I would change, because most of this can be fixed with just playstyle changes, but the only thing that can't be changed is Zyric attacking into somebody when he is 20 out of 30 HP and risking getting hit again. And then it's back to your turn and you're like, oh god, I hope he doesn't get hit on the next enemy phase. So my change here is just increase the heal AI threshold for Jill and Zyric on that chapter. I think if they get hit at all, they should just be vaulting.
Yeah, and that's totally fine with me. And I also think that that is not out of the realm of possibilities, because when I was putting together the Fire Emblem AI video, I had someone come out of the woodworks to talk about Radiant Dawn, how they're like, there's like 200 plus different AI scripts that are all like map specific things, and they were saying that one of their specific examples was there are certain enemies that are specifically like that will specifically target Taronio and are programmed to not target Jill, because otherwise they would just like one round Jill. I think it was either that Fire Mage or like another one that's on the map somewhere. It's like programmed to not attack Jill. Doesn't mean that she won't attack him, but
no, some of them are scripted to go for certain units, so that you get like the tense scenario, but it's not as bad as it looks. But there's still...
But I bring that up to be like, yeah, it would not be out of the ordinary for that map to have some extra changes to the AI for like healing priority is anytime you're damaged instead of just when you're below half.
Yeah, because like when I see Jill attack and she has like 17 health, meaning like she's 2-shot, I'm like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Stop.
Yeah. So, yeah, very much so.
That's my only change, and I think that map is basically solved. If you play properly, otherwise it is damn near perfect. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. I'll pass it back to you.
Alrighty. I have 3 more, I want to say.
Okay.
3 or 4, depending on how I split these up. One real quick one: fix your dang tooltips. There's no reason for the English translation to have like Japanese specific tooltips on Resolve, on Wrath, to have base conversations talk about the canceled mechanics from the Japanese version. It's I get that there are some things that's like, okay, you just translated, so maybe the base the base conversations get a pass, but there's no reason why the game should lie to you outright on like, oh, Resolve works on 20% or lower. No, it works on 50%. Just tell us what it actually does. Otherwise, people will be too afraid to actually use one of the better skills in the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I also had this change for Resolve. Fix the translation, and also because this is a problem simply because Resolve is a proc skill in FE10 in Japanese. It is strength as a percent to proc below 20 or 50% health, whatever their number is. Awful, dumb, stupid. But they made it 50% HP threshold for English, and it is not a proc percent chance to occur, but it processes in the game as if it does have a proc chance. If you are under half health and look at a combat window, it is not showing you updated stats for Resolve. And I think that should be changed, because that is how it works in FE9, and it in the English version is more similar to FE9s than Japanese FE10s.
Yeah. And in terms of an actual skill change then, speaking of which, why is Vantage a proc skill that also has an HP threshold? It's like, we had broken overpowered Vantage in Path of Radiance, and it didn't matter because no one was one-shotting anything in Path of Radiance. We have the weakest possible version of Vantage here, and no one's using it because it is a waste of skill points.
So Vantage is not HP threshold.
It's not HP threshold, it's just a proc?
It's speed percent chance if foe initiates combat. So it is a proc skill, not like an always go first.
Vantage should never be a proc skill.
I kind of agree, yeah. I think if it isn't HP dependent, like it is in like Fates or Awakening or something, then it should just be like the FE9 version. I do kind of agree with that. Because then it's like, it's so inconsistent that like, do you even bother like putting it on someone? Do you even bother pretending like that's part of the strategy? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, I'm fine, gambling on proc skills when it's like adept or like a critical skill or, a mastery skill. I'm not okay gambling my unit's life on a proc of Vantage. Kind of like I'm not really okay gambling my unit's life on a proc of Miracle.
Yeah,
but I think Vantage is the only one. But I think Vantage is the only one that actually needs to be changed.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it feels completely useless.
I agree with that, actually. I never liked the Vantage change. I think it's kind of lame, honestly. So,
yeah.
Yep, okay.
So that's my talk about skills for unbans. Do you have any more unbans?
I do have allow animation skips just in the base game, not like a new game or a after first playthrough thing. That's just stupid. That's a real easy one.
On a similar line, I have let us see the bonus experience drops without New Game Plus.
Oh, do they not? I don't even remember.
That's not an option unless you have New Game Plus, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
You need clear data for that.
I didn't even realize that. It's been so long since my very first playthrough. I didn't even know.
I know, right?
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, that's... These kind of, like, after first playthrough unlocks are always so stupid in Fire Emblem, in my opinion.
Like, I have one that I think, like, okay, you have, like, the whole secret units, including Tellius, and then the whole Leiron quest, that I think is fine.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm talking, like you're saying, like, the quality of life that you only get after a playthrough is dumb.
I have an addition to the game that's not in the game that I would put under Unban, but
Oh.
that I would put behind New Game Plus.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's visible hidden items. Because, so in the Japanese version, there are several Master Crowns hidden across the Part 3 and Part 4 maps that have the sparkle effect on the tile, but they are removed in the English version because you are then allowed to level 21 promote into your Tier 3 class, which you couldn't in the Japanese version.
I forgot about that too.
But only the Master Crowns had the sparkle effect. And then in Part 4, you have the base conversation that talks about, oh, I almost see some sparkling things on the map now that things are more ordered and not as chaotic. And it's like, okay, I could see then you have that base conversation, and then on clear data, you then are able to see these hidden items. Because there are some hidden items, like most of them are like coins or Olivai grass and don't matter at all. There are some hidden items that truly game changing, like Beast Foe, I think, is one of them.
Yeah, Beast Foe's one.
There's a couple like really good weapons or like stat boosters in certain maps.
Yeah, like on the Laguz map in Part 1, you really want the Beast Foe, and the Master Seal there is pretty huge too. Both hidden.
Yeah, there are so many different hidden items in Radiant Dawn, and while I don't think that you could remove them, I guess, if you wanted to, I think it's kind of exciting and kind of gives some elements of, ooh, I want to move my units around the map differently to collect all these hidden items. But I think the fact that you have to basically play with a wiki page open,
yeah,
is frustrating. And so, look, let people experience the game just as it is on a first playthrough. But if they want to go through on a New Game Plus, let them be able to see where the hidden items are.
No,
like
I agree.
That would be my fix for the hidden items there.
I agree with that, especially because that is how it works in the Japanese version. So like,
kind of
just add it back, but like more basically. I'm fine.
Yeah,
with
for
that.
all the hidden items, not just for like the hidden Japanese only Master Crowns.
Yeah. Okay. So I just wrote down add sparkle items on clear data.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then I think this is my last unlimit, at least that I have ready. I think you should just make the cat gauge the same as the tiger gauge. They're already balanced differently with like speed and might and bulk and all that sort of stuff. Don't double nerf them in the cat gauge. It's so bad, and it kind of has no reason to be. Like, the cat units in this game are already not very good. Runoff is like the best one, but even he has like Ford problems where he's like just off of one rounding or just off of doubling or something like that. Don't also make it constantly a choice between healing or using the Olivia grass to like not insta die. I just hate it.
Yeah, I agree. That was on my thing as well, of just like something of like fix Laguz gauge of like, sure, cats re-up at like 10 per turn, so they're back in action after 3 turns. A lot can happen in 3 turns, but also they lose, like, they drain 8 per turn naturally on top of losing 2 per combat or something, which is it's way too fast, way too much. They're constantly in and out and just not usable most of the time. And yeah, sure, I get that, you know, it allows the green unit cats to be picked off quicker. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's basically all it does. It's just such a bad thing, such a painful thing for cat units in particular, but I think a lot of Laguz just suffer from how quick the gauge is, but cat definitely is the worst in that regard in Radiant Dawn.
Yeah. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think you need to like rebalance every aspect of each Laguz type. I think you've already done that when you've decided that, oh, lions hit the hardest, cats hit the weakest, but they're generally speaking the faster type. and then tigers are somewhere in the middle. Like, you've already done the work to rebalance them, give them slightly different play styles. You don't also have to do that with the gauges, because it just turns into bad, like cat bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you want to change like where each unit's gauge starts at, sure, but you've already done that, so.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I knew we were going to talk about the cat gauge. How could we not? It's
Yeah.
so iconic for the worst reason.
Yeah. And then I have one other like small thing
Okay.
on top of that, which is, and you might need to nerf Volag a little bit in response to this, but I think there needs to be less strict half shift penalties. Going from a ×2 to all stats to a ×1.5 and having half experience gain makes half shift, when we're talking about like Ranulf, the unit that you would most want to put half shift on.
Yeah.
He already goes from like he's not quite one rounding things and he's stuck at one range and cat gauge problems to, okay, you've solved the cat gauge problems, but now he's getting two rounded and barely does any damage and just is a totally useless unit.
Yeah.
It's like, make it a reasonable choice of like, okay, sure, you can still have penalties. I'm not asking for no penalties from half shift.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be, okay, you're transformed but useless now.
Yeah. I do think this is another one of those like double nerf scenarios. Like, I think half XP or worse stats but same XP would have been fine, but both does feel like too much.
Yeah, and the only reason why they nerf it so extremely is so that Volag is slightly tempered down for part 1, but then can full shift in part 3 and be somewhat reasonable at fighting.
Yeah. So I almost feel like we should... if we're going to take away one of the two, I think I would prefer to take away the half XP penalty. Because that way, Volag's stats for part 1 are the same. And then he does get like a stat boost if you normal transform later. But it's not like you never want to use the skill again. It's like maybe you do, just to like, it's better than being untransformed. But I don't know. The XP part on Laguz units that already don't get XP very fast again, it seems like too much.
That's fair, that's fair. And I mostly am just like with Volag it's fine. I'm mostly just like, with the second half shift scroll that you get on the Grail Mercenaries, it's like, that is the most pointless thing in the universe.
Yeah, exactly. Just sell it.
It feels like, and it sounds like, oh, this is going to be so great, so awesome. It's going to make me be able to use Laguz units more regularly. I have 4 of them, 6 of them, depending on where you are, that are waiting in the wings for me to get something. And the Demi-Band was great in Path of Radiance, being like a minus like 1 or 2 to all stats, but permanent transformation, baby. And then you get half shift, and it's this big troll because not only does the unit stop leveling up, they also stop being able to kill enemies and start just dying to everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you suddenly change your mind, it's like, oh, I don't want a half shift, I want a full shift. It's like, okay, you un-half shift, and now you're at 0 gauge.
Oh god. Yeah, it's just it's too much, and it becomes, rather than like an interesting trade-off, it's just bad.
I would almost be fine if the half shift scroll just didn't exist in the Grail Mercs and it was like specifically a Volag unique skill. But I also understand that there are reasons why you might want to half shift other units for like, hey, maybe Mordecai can smite a horse more regularly or something. I don't know.
Yeah. There's got to be something.
Yeah. I'm sure some optimizer has found some LT-Seer has found a reason to use it.
Yeah. I remember I put half shift on Ranulf in the forced units only, just for memes, kind of, but it also was like, so I don't have to constantly like Olevi grass or run away. he can just sort of half shift, so I don't have to worry about the gauge, and then I can use that turn to heal or something. Because like I had to bring him along, but like it didn't make him good.
No.
So
yeah.
But yeah, I don't have any other unlimits. I do
Glancing
have
real quick over mine to see if I have any more.
I do
don't
have
think
a
I do.
talking point though.
Sure.
If you're ready. Would you like to talk about Radiant Dawn transfer bonuses at all?
This was what I was forgetting to write down. So transfer bonuses on the majority of units who even are eligible for them don't make basically any difference, and it's like they could basically not exist and you wouldn't notice because you're more limited by caps than by stats. But on the couple of units that they do make a difference for, they can literally make or break those units.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's reasonable, because it's like, okay, sure, transfers Ike versus no transfers Ike. Maybe he's a little bit less speed screwed or something. That's about it. Transfers Jill to no transfers Jill. Oh my goodness, totally different unit.
It is noticeable, yeah. And like it is very unit dependent, which makes it very, very weird to balance. Because like I think Jill, Nephany, people like that really want transfers. Like, it makes a very noticeable difference right away. And then the units that are so bad that you would think, oh, every point counts, I'll tell you straight up, getting Astrid transfers, she's so bad, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even really help. It's so terrible. Like, I still brought her to the tower. I still capped all but, like, one stat, I think, by the end, you know? But it wasn't fun. I wasn't like, oh, thank God I had transfers. It made the early bits a little easier. It really didn't. She was so bad that it did not help. So
doesn't matter. She's doing 10 damage instead of 8 with her steel longbow.
Yeah. And like so much about Radiant Dawn's gameplay, especially for units that are Radiant Dawn exclusive, the numbers feel very finely tuned to me. But then there are some characters that are FE9 characters that feel like they almost expected or wanted you to have transfers for them.
Yeah.
Like if you want to seriously use Boyd in Radiant Dawn, you need to get him a speed transfer and give him a speed wing. And then you have a chance. But like 18 speed Boyd, you're going to be in speed hell for the longest time. It's so bad and not really even worth the headache, to be honest. And that sucks because Boyd is insanely fun in Radiant Dawn if you get him to doubling thresholds. I still love the guy. But the hill to climb there is so bad, and Soren faces like a very similar thing. He has the same speed base of 18. And it's not hard, like theoretically, to get a speed transfer for Soren. Like, he'll generally cap speed if you use him consistently in FE9. But I hate that the game feels like it almost expects you to bring that in if you want to use Soren or Boyd.
Yeah, there are so many units in Radiant Dawn that are, like, usable without transfers, but with transfers they're so much better. And the usable is, like, it's sometimes in heavy air quotes. But it just is, like, ultimately what the bottom line is that it's wholly unreasonable to ask anyone to go through and play a different 40-hour RPG slightly differently in the hopes that they get a certain number of level 20 capped out units with these specific level, like, whatever capped out stats, and then to transfer that data over. It's so much work for such little reward, yet at the same time that little reward feels like it matters too much for how much input it is. And while I love the idea of, oh, I'm continuing on, it's a direct sequel, and I have some special little perks for playing the first game, I appreciate that feeling. I had transfers as well. Do I remember what my transfers were? No, they were probably terrible. But I don't think it's overall good for the game to have transfers. I think some of these units just need to have different base stats.
Yeah. And like that's the weird part about it is like another good example in the opposite direction is a unit like Gatry. Like they know for a fact you're not getting a speed transfer on Gatry. So what did they do? They made his speed like actually good in this game. They said if you want to use Gatry long term, it's pretty viable actually. He will get speed. He will cap speed. Like that's not a problem.
A surprisingly great unit, and like in some runs was like the second unit to reach tier 3 in the Grail Mercs for me.
Yeah, no, I mean he's cooking in my Iron Man right now. He's already capped his speed. Like I love the guy, and like they know that you're not doing that in FE9 with his like 5 base or whatever it is. So they didn't balance him around getting a speed transfer, obviously. Yeah. And his base is 20 or 21 or something like that. That's higher than Boyd and Soren. That's insane to me. It's
almost Soren's cap.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's almost Soren's cap. So it's like I don't know that there's a change that we could make that is clean enough to like just ban them or only do it for specific characters. So I kind of don't want to touch it, but I do wish the game was not balanced with that in mind.
Yeah, and it's like you can say that it's not, but there are some places where it really feels like it is.
Yeah, and Ronolf really feels like, dude, if he had 1 point of speed, which translates to 2, or 1 point of strength, which again translates to 2 when transformed, he goes from not doubling to doubling, or not one rounding by 1 point, I kid you not, 1 point, to now comfortably one rounding. And it's like, do they really expect me to get transfers for Ronolf, of all people? That's not realistic. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. I would be okay banning transfers entirely, and then maybe going through and buffing certain units in response, but I basically play as if transfers don't exist anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, and I think I said this to you the other day, but like I play about half and half, like where if I'm on console, I'll usually have a transfer file. It's normally Ike and then like 1 or 2 other people, depending on who I used. But if I'm playing on emulator, honestly, because I don't know how to do it, I don't play with transfers.
Yeah, so, I was gonna say I don't even know how to set that up.
Yeah, so like I'm used to both ways. Like I know how the game changes in like specific but not completely minor or unimportant ways. But I wish that it wasn't balanced around that. I wish it was something like, oh, that's kind of neat if it detects FE9 save data on your memory card, but like not when it's in a game that is so tightly crafted otherwise that it feels weird. It's like I've thought about this too with like other games. This is not like a new concept for gaming. Like I've been playing the Castlevania games, as you know. Right now on Discord, my profile picture is Soma Cruz, and there's little bonuses of stuff. Like if you have the Game Boy Aria of Sorrow card in your DS when you are playing the DS game Dawn of Sorrow, the sequel, you get a free rare ring. And like, yeah, it's just one item. It increases like item drop rates. Okay, that's kind of neat. And you can sell it for 25k gold, which is pretty good. But it's not like you come into the game at level 10 instead of level 1 because you have the Game Boy game or something. It's not changing anything really mechanically about the game. It's just like a fun little neat thing.
Yeah, it's like the fancy little things that you got for connecting Fire Emblem 7 to Mario Kart Double Dash with the Game Boy tuner or whatever it was. You know, those really obscure connection things that nobody did and we all just heard about that existed 10 years later on the internet.
Yeah. Like, I wish it was more in the line of, like, okay, if you have FE9 save data, Ike, in his starting inventory, also has the Regal Sword. or something like that. It's like, oh, that's kind of neat, but like it doesn't super matter. You know, I wish it was more along that sort of line, if anything at all. Because I've heard this sort of thing with like, oh, if they remake FE4 and Thracia, they should make them together, and the pairings you had in FE4 should translate to Thracia. And I'm like, no, please, God, don't do that.
No, because it throws so much of a wrench into the works, into the balance of the game, of what otherwise is a perfectly fine-tuned, and self-balanced experience.
Yeah.
Like, I know that people love this idea of a continuing legacy save files, legacy board games, whatever the case may be, of like, oh, you keep playing and you keep doing things and your playthroughs matter. Well, there's a reason why most games that promise that end up reneging on that promise. It's because it's way too heckin' impossible to balance.
Yeah, exactly.
And it ends up making just a worse gameplay experience for everyone except the people who optimized their initial run in order to get a better experience later on. And even then, it's like you're trying too hard. And especially, okay, I will also say, and this is not about game design, this is about player psychology. There are so many players who, if you say, hey, I'm having trouble with this game, I'm having trouble with this unit, what should I do? If Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance came out today, modern consoles, modern games, so many people would be like, oh, in order to play this, you have to go back and play Path of Radiance and get these transfers, and then transfer them over, and then you'll have this good thing. Otherwise, you're playing the game wrong, you know, because this is what happens with every single video game that comes out in the year of our Lord 2025. It is so just obnoxious.
It's so wrong, but you are correct. Like, that does happen. People will give that advice.
And soon ChatGPT is going to be telling people to do that too.
Oh no. Yeah, ChatGPT will tell you to get soft transfers. Like, oh yeah, he really needs that +2 strength, don't he? That's another example. They knew you weren't getting soft transfers, so they just made them good.
Transfers is wild, because soft transfers full replace his stats with his transfer stats if they're better, I think.
Oh, is that how it works? I honestly
Soth
don't know.
uniquely is weird when it comes to that, but that's a whole topic for another discussion. I think Soth I don't know anyone who's legitimately gotten a Soth transfer Soth. Ultimately, if you run the numbers, his averages are basically the same. I think he has slightly more strength with transfers and generally higher luck with more transfers, but that's about it.
Okay, yeah. But that's the thing, like, they probably didn't expect you to full train the thief, although some people will. So they just made him good.
They expected it to be an Easter egg for some of the most dedicated hardcore fans, and that's it.
Yeah. Blossom, by the way.
Yeah, which I think is fine when it comes to Soth. Like, I would be fine keeping the Soth Easter egg gimmick, because that's his whole gimmick for Path of Radiance. But I think the rest of the transfers are like, this should not really exist.
Yeah. I will say I'm only hesitant to actually ban them because you can ban them by just not playing with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think the implied nature of banning transfers would be an active rebalance of the stats of units that need transfers in order to function properly.
Okay. And of course, we're not going to get into that
just me.
By unit, but as I said, like, I do wish the game was balanced around not having transfers.
Yeah.
For certain specific units that, like, I just feel like Nephany should have +2 strength and speed base. Like, I just think she should.
It's like, without it, she and Braum work together to defeat units that they otherwise have no ability to. Without it, but with it, she then becomes, especially because she comes in wielding that steel Great Lance.
Yeah.
It's an effective +4 speed on her, which actually matters quite a bit and turns her into, oh, she now might be doubling.
Yeah, exactly. It is a very notable difference for her. Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, Yeah, with that explanation, I will put it in the bans. Ban transfer bonuses, and have a second look at certain units to rebalance their stats as if they never existed in the first place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's the only other things that I have on my list.
Okay, me as well. I think we're pretty much done here, so I'll do the last rundown.
Go for it.
Whew. So for bans, we have 1-9 is skippable on a clear save file. You will have to play it your first playthrough, but after that, you've seen the trick. You don't need to do it again.
It still sounds reasonable to me.
Yep. And then transfer bonuses we just talked about, but remove transfer bonuses and where necessary, rebalance unit-based stats very slightly. Because that would I just think it would make it a little more solid.
You don't even have to do +2s. Some of them you can even just do a +1 here and there.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And then the last ban was remove bronze weapons, because they kind of add nothing to the gameplay that's interesting. And bump the ranks, generally speaking, down, so there's no double S, it's just S for mastery weapons.
Yeah. Which ultimately wouldn't change pretty much anything outside of you now start at iron instead of bronze when you get a new weapon.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. And then the only limit we had was mine about Part 4, making Part 4 prologue through Part 4 Chapter 4 defeat boss objective instead of route, so that you can route the map if you would like. If you're into the unit building at that point, you need to catch somebody up. But don't make it a slog for people that are just going to take 5 royals and har to the tower. And it just introduces more viable play styles, play patterns, that sort of thing.
And I'm fine with that.
Okay, and then Unlimits, we have a billion of them. We have increased the heal AI threshold for Jill and Zyhark on the Part 1, Chapter 4 or 5, whatever it is, where they are green units, so that they don't get 2-shot and die or attack something stupidly. Otherwise, the map is perfect.
Yeah.
1-5, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fiona +5 luck, very important, so she doesn't get crit on something that's like basically out of your control.
Yep, don't make BBD2.
Yep. Show enemy ranges on highest difficulty and return the weapon triangle. Keep it consistent with the previous difficulties. Again, I'm not pressed about the weapon triangle, but I'm open to it just being added back because it does exist in the game. And
consistency is key.
Yep. Show updated resolve combat window stats and update translations to properly convey what the skill does.
Yes, please.
Buff cat gauge, terrible. Allow animation skip on first playthrough. Don't make that a new game plus requirement. That's stupid. Mages +1 movement to be more in line with other infantry units. Arc Sage speed cap, regardless of whether it's Sorin, Bastion, Tormod, Ilyana, make the speed cap 34 so they can double auras with Whitepool. I think they should be allowed to do that. Faster weapon XP gain. Forging non-basic tomes. Make Vantage the same as an FE9, so it's not a proc skill. Show bonus XP on the first playthrough, similar to the animation skip on the first playthrough. Remove XP penalty on half shift, but still have the stat penalties. And add sparkle points on the map for all hidden items on clear data.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a pretty fun game. Sounds like a pretty good game.
We made a lot of, I would say, minor tweaks to the game, in all honesty.
Yeah.
We're not carving up the game. We're not lopping off entire classes or chapters, really, outside of 1-9. But yeah, I honestly, as a Tellius defender, I think it does need changes. It is not a perfect game, but I think these are reasonable adjustments that would help smooth out the experience of the game while still keeping it Tellius, while still keeping it Radiant Dawn.
Yeah, because I don't think any of these changes make either game like unrecognizable all of a sudden. it really is just like fine tuning. And I've said this before about Radiant Dawn, like it's so good and so fun and so punchy and sick, but there's just little things that like, why didn't you do this? Why doesn't resolve show in the combat window when it's not a proc skill anymore? Stuff like that is just like, you were so close, and that's all you need. You just need that little fine tooth comb.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is going to be our Tellius ban lists. Again, let us know what you agree with, disagree with, what you would add or change. I would love to read your thoughts. I always love hearing what other people have to say. Mithril, thank you so much for joining me on this, yet again, very long video, but it is a lot of fun.
No worries. I love yapping about Fire Emblem. I don't get to do it enough.
Yeah, exactly. I will have Mithril's channel in the description. Please check out his stuff if you have not already, although chances are you've probably seen him before you've seen me, let's be real. He just put out a video documenting all of the, generally speaking, all of the AI sort of habits, activities in the entire Fire Emblem series. If you're like me, you might have to watch it more than once to retain everything, but it is a wealth of information, and it's really sick, and you should go watch it. I will link that as well. Anything else you want to say before we sign off, Mithril?
No, I think that's good. Go out and play Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. It's worth it.
Yeah, Path of Radiance is coming to the Switch Online, if it isn't already. That's coming soon, isn't it?
It was like the second or third game listed in the lineup, and generally speaking, that means it's going to be, you know, the third or fourth game unveiled as they add new games to it. So it should be soon.
Okay, cool. We'll have more people finally playing these games. That's really awesome. But yeah, with that said, I think that's everything. Thanks again for watching. Have a good one. Peace out and take care. Alrighty, one last thing I do want to mention about FE9, and I'm not bringing it up because I want to add it. But I know someone is going to say it, so I'm kind of getting ahead of the curve here. I know someone is going to say, put a save point in Chapter 27 of Path of Radiance before the Black Knight fight. And my answer is no. No. I will defend the Black Knight fight till the day I die. I think it is so overhated. I think it is one of those things that, like, once you know how to do it, you realize it's actually more balanced than you maybe realized initially. But everybody just has the worst advice for it ever. And they make it seem like this, like, unwinnable slot machine stupid fight when it's really not. And I've made a video about it too. Just level up Mist, man. Oh my god. Like,
just use Mist and you don't have to worry about it.
I know. It's crazy. And I'm so glad you know that now.
Equipped Nihil. Use Mist, equip Nihil. If you feel like it, equip Wrath as well.
Yeah, exactly. If you feel like it, equip Wrath. It's not even necessary.
It's literally like the only enemy in the entire game that Nihil matters for.
Yeah, literally. It is the only one. And dude, it drives me nuts. It drives me so nuts because to me, it's like the same argument as saying like, oh, FE6 early game is such bullshit, man. It's so stupid. Nobody can hit anything. Lot and Wade can't hit anything. It's like, my brother, they gave you Marcus. What are you doing? Why is he in the corner of the map doing nothing? It drives me insane. Like, I don't think like you playing bad or like not looking at other options makes a thing not fair. I think that's so stupid.
Yeah, and it's one of those things of like, look to Radiant Dawn and then go back to Path of Radiance. Like, look to Radiant Dawn. They give Ike Nihil for free upon promotion to Vanguard.
Dude, it's like they're trying to tell you how to do it.
It's like our players obviously didn't do it. We're gonna do it for you because Eclipse is scary.
Eclipse is scary.
You thought triple damage, no defense was enough overkill.
Yeah, it's like, no, how about 5?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it drives me insane. I've thought about remaking that Black Knight video and like talking even more in depth about it, because like I hate seeing so many people complain about like, oh, you didn't proc Aether, this is so stupid.
Break out the binomial distribution. Let's go.
Dude, I think I might have to. I think I might actually have to. And like, I will say, on a first run, there's no way to telegraph that to the player to like train Mist for the Black Knight fight. I understand someone not liking that on a first playthrough, but if you've played the game a couple times and you're still consistently losing to the Black Knight and blaming it on Aether, that is your fault. You are playing bad. End of rant. Yeah. But that's why I didn't bring it up. Because I know someone will for Path of Radiance Black Knight fight. I know someone will, but I know you're on my wave, because that was actually, fun fact for the viewers, the first video of mine that Mithril saw. That's the whole reason we talked today, so that's kind of cool actually.
Yeah, I saw the video. I was like, hey, I like your stuff. Do you want to collab sometime?
Yeah, and then I came on your stream.
I don't reach out to like anyone, but I reached out to you to collab, and here we are, like 20 collabs later.
I know, dude. It's actually crazy to think about.